Oh, it's like intro.
Hello and welcome to the Red Laugh Riot podcast. What an interesting intro so far. My name's Matt.
And I'm Ben.
And I'm Michael. What's up?
So for Michael, for those who don't know you, who are you? How do we know you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am an ex-student of South Seas Film and TV School, along with
You say ex-student as if you dropped out.
Oh no!
You should say.
I'm a
you should
graduate.
just call yourself a graduate.
Yeah, I'm a graduate of South Seas Film and TV School.
We shouldn't tell people where we work just for security and safety reasons. It's just smart practice not to tell the world where you work or live.
All right.
Okay.
You know what's also smart practice? The James Lipton questionnaire, which I'll administer to Michael, which is what we always do the first time that we get a guest on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with this, mate, basically don't overthink your answers, right?
Yeah.
It's my...
First thing, just
Okay.
quick fire.
It's my
quick fire.
advice.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm happy.
here we go. What is your favorite word?
Probably delectable.
Delectable.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
I
it's like
like
a really.
that.
it's just got a lot of mouth noise and
That's good.
you know,
Delectable.
the
Delectable.
word changes. The word changes based on the amount of saliva currently in your mouth, which is very interesting.
That's
All right. What is your least favorite word?
Iron,
Iron.
like IRON, iron.
Iron.
It doesn't.
Iron.
It's crap. It doesn't sound
Iron.
anything like it looks.
Yeah.
It's just a bad word.
Just a bad word.
man. I'm amazed at how thoughtful these answers are. And you've never heard these questions before, right?
I know. I remember one. I remember one question from these.
Oh, you do. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Okay. So does that mean like in another person, or does that mean like in life?
Whatever, I guess.
Whatever you interpret the question to be.
Okay. I would say just anything with like a real purpose to it that like speaks to some sort of meaning, you know, like anything that can like you can look at or do that gives you a sense of purpose in some
Okay.
way. Yeah.
What turns you off?
Pretentious crap.
Pretentious
I
crap.
know,
Good
yeah.
answer. What sound or noise do you love? That sound?
Really?
Yeah. It's like a nice like hereditary click. You know? Yeah, that whole thing. Yeah.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Like a buzzsaw or something. Something that is just like one long extended noise that goes on for a long time.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your favorite curse word?
Definitely fuck.
Fuck, yeah.
Yeah.
Good answer. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
You know, I would absolutely love to be a tradie.
A tradie?
No doubt, right? Like tradies are the best people in the entire world.
That's
Yeah.
so
They
interesting.
they get to do so many things that other people don't want to do, but they kind of love it, and they just like.
But
I
you're
don't know,
you're
they just
almost
chill
saying
out,
that
have
you'd
a
rather
movie
have a
and
different
pie.
personality. Like that's.
Well, yeah. I just want to hang out with people. I want
Okay.
to hang out with tradies.
But do you think your personality would fit in that environment?
I think I could adapt.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Definitely, very well. I like Blue V. I like pies. I like high-vis vests. I think they look really cool. I like the color of a high-vis vest. I'd be totally comfortable
Nice.
in a tradie environment.
Nice. What profession would you not like to do?
Accounting, definitely accounting.
Is that what Seb said?
I think I said accounting.
Oh, you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like numbers very much.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
fair enough.
Fair enough.
If heaven, final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I think I'd just like an explanation.
Yeah.
You know, not for like why I'm there or anything. Just like I am this person. This is how I came to be. This is why you were alive. Come on, like just give me all of the details, and then I can chill out and be in heaven. Or else I'm just going to be asking too many questions.
That's really good.
Yeah, I don't want to know any. I don't want to be left not knowing anything by the time I actually walk through the gates. You know.
Right.
Nice.
Fair enough.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
That's a good
Thank you.
answer.
Really good answer.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of things that we don't know a lot about, I guess it's time to move on to reading the headlines, which is where we read some headlines and we talk about them.
From Reddit.
From Reddit.
Yeah, from
Yeah,
Reddit.
yeah.
So this is, I've started doing this slightly differently. So now, because we record this every 2 weeks, I'm now weekly going to get like the top posts of the week and save them so that we can talk about like the actual most popular things from the last 2 weeks. Because I used to just like go and see what was hot, and I'm just like, it's usually just GIFs and stuff like that. It's just like, it's not good content. So I'm trying to spice this segment up a bit.
Nice.
Anyway, things we don't know much about. Black holes And now we know a little bit more
yeah,
because the first picture of a black hole opens a new era of astrophysics. The supermassive beast lies in a galaxy called M87, more than 50 million light years away.
The mighty burger ring.
It does look like a burger ring, doesn't it? And I mean, it almost looks like a sun behind a moon. You know, like it looks like it's like shadowed.
Like an eclipse.
Yeah, like an eclipse, right?
Yeah.
But it's like black hole.
It's a black hole.
It's cool. I mean, like I thought about it because it's like this tiny blurry photo. I think it's really interesting when you look at the first photo we had of Pluto like years ago, and then like just like last year or 2 years ago or something, we got like a real decent looking photo of Pluto. It's like how far we've come with Pluto. Imagine in 10 years or 20 years maybe how far we'll go in terms of getting images like this.
Yeah.
Like I love space so much. Like it's just so exciting, and just stuff like this is just like really cool to see. I don't know.
I think it's interesting. I think people are getting caught up on the quality of the picture a lot.
Yeah.
It's a blurry ass picture, like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is the thing about that black hole picture. It's not, I don't find it, maybe I just don't find it as amazing. And that's mostly because to me, it's like, yeah, obviously the theory of relativity and all of that stuff is right. Like if this is what you need, like, you know, their big thing was like, oh, this finally proves like all of our physics correct. Like black holes do exist as first theorized, blah, blah, blah. Like we all knew, like those big simulations of black holes that they made, this is the same. You just see all this matter being shot out, you know?
Yeah.
Same thing as always.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's not like, to me, it was not like groundbreaking. I know to a lot of like scientists and stuff it is, for sure. But it's like, it's just cool that we have it.
Oh, it's so cool.
You know? Because it's like, it's such a far off thing that, you know, most people don't even know what it really looks like. Until like Interstellar came out, and then most people got the idea like, oh, wait, it's actually a 3D object, you know, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that kind of thing. I mean, the photo is obviously not 3D, but like, you kind of get an idea. I saw a meme like on Reddit, just like today, and it was like, you know, the meme of like Homer in the bar, and there's all these people around, and it's just on their face, it's just the picture of the black hole, and the caption's just like Reddit today or whatever.
Oh yeah,
like because literally everyone was talking about it. It's like the only like single thing that I've heard more talked about at once was when the whole saving the internet thing was going on. Like every subreddit was just like save the internet.
Oh, the whole net neutrality
thing.
Yeah.
And we ended up failing anyway.
But isn't it beautiful? Like we've just released the first ever photo of a black hole, and it's just memes everywhere. That's all it is. And it's going to be the same with everything that ever happens from now on. That's like not too terrible to make a meme about.
Yeah,
just be memed.
And even still, some people will probably meme it.
Oh yeah.
Even if it is.
Oh yeah.
I imagine there are potentially plenty of memes about this one. Rhino Poacher trampled by an elephant.
I saw that.
And then eaten by lions.
I saw that.
just one like soul. Like what happened to the rest of his crew?
Maybe he was a lone poacher.
The lone rhino poacher.
Oh, yeah, lone
wait, trampled by an elephant and why was he around a water hole? Like, why were there so many of these?
The thing about this segment is that we never actually click on the article and read it. We would just read the comments occasionally and see what's going on.
I don't understand that at all. Like, so this guy, was he in a zoo? Like, I don't get it.
I don't think poachers go to zoos to hunt.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's just so many of these animals all like chilling around each other without like, not getting on. Or, like, is that what it is?
I mean,
like,
maybe it was a case of like all these animals.
Like, I've heard stories. Yeah,
just to put aside their differences and be like, yo, this guy's a dick, we need to deal with him first.
Like that.
Yeah, I've heard stories of like animals that are actually aware of poachers and like know what they do, and they like retaliate.
Well, they must by now, right? I mean, it's been happening for literally forever.
Yeah.
Since humans.
When I saw it just laughed, and I was like, well, obviously it's sad because like a guy died, but like.
Oh, I mean, he was a poacher.
But at the same time, it was like, you did a shitty thing. So
we didn't.
Here's a really interesting comment.
Oh, is this in the same?
Yeah, in this thread.
Cool.
Why are people so hard on for killing poachers but happy to support factory farming?
Okay, now this is something I've always thought about, and I love it, bro, because these white girls, man. No, it's not just white girls. I don't want to be a sexist asshole. But you know, like people be sharing these like things of like some famous person holding up like a dead fucking like really cute dead animal or something. And they're like, you know, But like in reality, that thing died a quick death, bro. Same with poaching, actually. I was talking about shooting, I guess.
Right.
But like, you know, like end of the day, most of these people probably eat meat. Most of these people probably support an industry that like not only wrecks the environment, but like kills like baby calves every single day.
Yeah.
And then they're like upset because somebody went out and shot a cougar or
took
some like, you know, like killed some whale or something.
Yeah. That was just funny. I don't know if you've heard of a guy called Lewis Spears. He's an Australian comedian that I've recently got into on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he recently did a video like talking about in like I think in Melbourne there were these vegan like protesters that blocked off like a whole street protesting, and he pointed out like that one of the girls was like a model and she was like carrying like a leather handbag.
Yeah.
And like
I don't know, it's interesting. At the same time, you don't want to like pigeonhole, or like you don't want to hold everyone up to like that standard.
Yeah, I guess so, but like it's just like if you're gonna like I'm not saying you have to be like 100% I don't know, like harsh about it, I guess, but like firstly it was really stupid what they did, blocking the roads and people like couldn't get to work and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And secondly, like if you're like passionate enough about it to protest, I feel like you should be passionate enough about it to not have leather handbags. I don't know.
Yeah. Nah, I get you, bro.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's like, so with like a poaching element, why poaching's bad, right? Is that majority of the time it's endangered species.
Yeah,
right?
that's the real issue.
Last time I checked, chickens and cows on that
Well, the thing
aren't
is,
endangered.
the reason they're not endangered is because they're great food, and so we mass produce the animals. If that's the thing about veganism that I've always like been like, well, if everyone like joins you and becomes vegan and doesn't eat any animals, all the animals are going to be slaughtered because they're going to be a waste of money.
Yes, but we're also going to stop an endless cycle.
Yeah.
So that's probably a good cost, you know, overall.
I guess you sound a bit like Thanos there.
No, because like yes.
Yeah.
End of the day, but that's not really how it's going to happen. It's not like that's really going to happen.
Well, it's
like
yeah, I know.
everyone's
it's like
gonna go
I
vegan,
agree.
and then
Of
they're gonna be
course.
like, oh, well, I guess we have to. You know.
Yeah, overnight that's obviously not going to happen. What I cannot wait for is when mass-produced like what's it called? When you like fake meat.
Oh, like lab meat?
Yeah, lab-grown meat.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that to be like actually like widespread.
I
Because
reckon chefs will hate it so much.
What?
These chefs who go on about like, oh, this beautiful cow fed, you know, golden grass, and you know,
like people can't taste the difference like with the stuff that they're producing today.
Oh, of course not.
It's like, and some people would say it's even better. Like you can do so much more with it. So I'm excited for that.
Perfect marbling.
I mean, that's the thing with like veganism and stuff. I could never go vegan because
because
literally my entire diet is dairy and meat.
Yeah.
I would starve. I would have nothing to eat. I would be screwed.
I love vegans. I wish I could be vegan.
Yeah,
but I'm just.
I think it's a whole thing. It's like that's cool. You basically, I'm a big believer in do whatever you want as long as it doesn't directly harm anyone else.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Moving on then. Sorry, this one's great. Man drugged and robbed by Cardi B says it was still better than listening to her music. I don't know if this is a real story or not.
Apparently, I've heard it.
So what she did is she like was on Snapchat or Instagram or something.
Yeah.
And said that she used to like rob people and like drug them or whatever. And so this guy obviously has come out and just said this, probably just as a joke, but it would be really funny if it was actually a real guy that got robbed.
Yeah, so she's been speaking about how she used to basically pose as a sex worker. Or I don't know if she actually was a sex worker, I don't know. But she used to basically like bring men in and drug them, take all this stuff. Pretty nasty.
Which is fucked up.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's impossible to like fully defend.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what situation someone's in. I think it's, even if she's, you know, completely down and out economically. Yeah. There are other things you can do than, you know, drug and rob someone, innocent people, I think it's interesting as well because there wasn't that much of a outcry at it. At this revelation where it's like, had it been a male celebrity to admit that against
against female victims.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
shit
like
would hit the fan.
It's hard because like it's not like a sexual assault thing. Like I think if something had come out about her doing something like that, then I think there definitely would be just as big a backlash. I think we've adjusted now to the point where that would happen.
Really?
Yeah, honestly. But this is different. This is like just more like general crime.
Yeah, I guess.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think she'll stay very popular though.
Yeah. I think that also brings up a very interesting question in terms of like cancel culture.
Yeah.
And that in terms of like, I think there's also a very interesting thing, and I remember I think Jim Jeffries actually talked about it.
Yeah.
He was talking about the fame to blame ratio.
Oh, that's
interesting. So he's talking about how famous the celebrity is determines, and what crime they did determines whether we like, as a society, we like whether they maintain their career or if they don't. So like there was like all these career, like Charlie Chaplin, who did like a bunch of like dodgy stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and he's still regarded.
Yeah. And I mean, you could say the same about someone like Michael Jackson, who's probably received the most support out of anyone in this entire Me Too thing. Like he's probably one of the only people who actually has like an extremely large group of people being okay and like supporting him and saying it's fine. Like even if he did do it, he's dead, you know, or, like, you know. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think there actually is, even today, there's a possibility that someone is too big to be taken down completely.
Right.
And I think Jackson will probably always have his songs regarded in some high level, which is upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this on the last podcast, like specifically about that situation as well. Matt and I both agree that like it doesn't change our opinion on his music. Do you feel the same way, or do you feel different?
Does for me. I mean, like, when I was a kid, I used to stand in front of the TV watching his videos.
Really?
And I would dance.
Oh, wow.
Like, every day I would do that. You know, it was like a big thing. So, yeah, it definitely changes my opinion of his music.
Okay.
Because I believe it all.
Yeah.
Everything that happened. But it just, like, the songs are great. Highest selling album of all time. End of the day, I can't listen to them anymore and feel the same.
Right.
It just doesn't work. It makes me uncomfortable to listen to them.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I find that interesting. I also find it interesting. I mean, especially with the case of Michael Jackson as well. Yeah. Because the rumors and the talk of sexual assault and that happening. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was around when he was still alive. It was. Yeah. He had a case in the 90s. Had a case in 2005, I believe it was. Yeah. So that's one of the major reasons why I sort of believe. Because there's so many examples of it.
There's
it's whether all of them are telling the truth or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right?
Who knows?
Everyone knows that there's not extremely big conglomerate of every single person who ever worked for him who just wants money. Like that's not the case, and that's what the Jackson estate is saying now. They're like everyone's just trying to capitalize. It's like really, everyone, even like. The members of like, who was it? Like one of Michael Jackson's family members even came out and basically said,
really?
Yeah.
I actually watched.
Did you watch?
I watched the first half of it, the first 2 hours of it. I didn't realize it was so long.
Second part's a lot better.
Is it?
Yeah, I've seen both parts.
I might. So I watched. I was last night. I put it on. I didn't realize how long it was. I was like, oh, this is long. I ended up falling asleep to it because I was quite tired. Yeah. So I did. So I fell asleep to a man talking about how he was sexually assaulted. Yeah. Which is a bit weird. But
it's exhausting to watch. It is. Right. It's exhausting because there's just so much.
I agree. I feel weirder about it now that I've watched the documentary, I guess, because like the amount of detail he goes into and everything as well. Yeah. It's like, wow. But I think I can still listen to his music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of the top album of all time, our top 5, we're going to talk about our top 5 albums.
All right, I'll just give a list out.
Personal albums. So this segment, that's word, is semi-inspired by the film High Fidelity, where they went top 5 lists, and I don't know why I keep introducing it. Like
at least this one's relevant because that was a movie about music. Yeah, and they actually did list off albums and stuff. I think.
Yeah. So it's inspired by that. So we'll get into that. All right. So I'm gonna preface my list by saying, firstly, I don't listen to many albums. I sort of listen to singles. Mm-hmm. So this list was very difficult. Don't read my list, Michael.
I already read it.
See your eyes staring
before the podcast started. I don't remember them.
And then so my 2 roles, because I always make roles whenever I do a top 5 list. my 2 rules are no repeats of artists. Right, so that's my first rule.
Cool.
My second rule is no greatest hits albums.
Okay.
Oh, I think that's pretty obvious. Like that's
Pretty
not,
obvious.
it doesn't count.
It's on an album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just prefaced with those things. All right. So my first album, which I think is going to come as a big surprise to a lot of people, is the soundtrack, I guess, to the musical Hamilton.
Oh
so
yeah.
I wanted
wow.
a little bit of hip hop representation in there. So I actually listened to Hamilton the first time last year, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Hamilton was for a while was one of those things where a lot of people said, "Oh, it's great, it's amazing, you should listen to it," and I didn't listen to it because everyone told me I should listen to it.
Yep.
You know that effect.
Sense.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get you.
So I did that. So I didn't listen to it until literally last year, and then I listened to it, and I was just, man, it slapped me like a fish to the face.
Yeah.
It was just blew me away, and I was like, oh, it's so good,
Yeah.
and I love it. And it's really good. And if you haven't checked it out, you should check it out because Lin-Manuel Miranda is an amazing writer and rapper and human being. So you should check it out.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's my number 5 pick.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever actually watched.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
I've listened to a bit of Hamilton.
You haven't
Yeah.
watched it, but you.
I haven't watched it, but I've listened.
I had a
That's
girlfriend
interesting.
who blasted that thing
Oh, really?
Yeah.
all the time. I thought it was pretty cool. I definitely liked it.
Yeah.
But and I don't know, man. Wasn't there that thing where like Mike Pence went or something? Was it Mike Pence who went to Hamilton?
Might have.
And
Yeah.
then like one of the people was like,
Why?
make sure that you use your responsibility correctly for us and everything. It was really interesting and kind of awkward for him, but it was funny and like,
Interesting. It's on to
me?
you. On to you, Michael.
All right. My number 5 is an album called Grace by Jeff Buckley. Most people know Jeff Buckley as like the Hallelujah guy.
Yeah, that's how I know him.
Had that song. And it is like a fantastic song. But I think Grace is a lot different to that kind of thing. Like there's definitely elements of like bringing in like those old songs. He does another cover, I think, of a song called Lilac Wine, which is really lovely. But a lot of it's also this really grim, dark kind of mystical rock album that kind of plays a lot with structure. There's not much traditional kind of writing going on in there. Like the songs are usually pretty long.
Yep.
For by standards of pop. Or
Yeah.
like by popular music, I would say. Like some of them are, roughly maybe 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Just ventures like really emotionally deep into different topics, very like angry topics, different approaches to love as well. And I think it's just really, I don't know, it's like a really good album to listen to if you're wanting to hear someone sing their ass off as well. The dude's got like a range of like 4 or something like 5 octaves. I don't know. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like the notes he can hit. And Hallelujah's in there as well. That's actually on the album.
Oh, okay.
One of the slower moments. But I think Jeff Buckley is definitely an interesting character. He passed away maybe few years after the album actually came out.
Yeah. 'Cause didn't he pass away quite young?
He disappeared. No one knows where he went.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe. I don't know if they ever found his body or not.
Really?
But basically he went swimming in this river after or before a concert or something. Dude never came back. Yeah.
That's insane.
No one knows what happened. A lot of people have their little conspiracies about him doing it on purpose, etc. And no one knows. No one really knows. But he's a really fantastic writer, singer, performer, and I think Grace is an album that everyone should listen to.
Awesome.
That's all I have to say.
Cool. My 5th favorite album is A Still Heart by The Naked and Famous. And this is an acoustic album that they did last year. I think it was last year now. Yeah, where they basically redid a bunch of their songs acoustically, and it just like sounds so great. Like I just love it. I love jamming to that. And it's like I really like a lot of Naked and Famous songs. Yeah. But like there's not like a whole album outside of this one where like I love the whole album. And this one is just like I love the whole thing because it's almost like a greatest hits but done acoustically and but really well. It's not just like her and a guitar like strumming along or whatever. Like it's like a real nice sounding.
What'd you say it was called?
A Still Heart.
A Still Heart. Okay,
yeah.
I see. Was it like a live album or did they do it in a studio or?
I'm not sure if they did it live or not actually. I think they did it in a studio, and then they did do a few live performances, definitely, of it. I think they recorded it in a studio.
Yeah, I love that girl's voice, man.
Yeah,
it's really good. Like she just rocks my socks. You ever seen them live?
I haven't.
So good.
Did they even come to New Zealand anymore? I've never.
Yeah, they played like a big day out that I went to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, they're really cool. I've seen them in America as well.
Right. If you happen to be in LA this month, I know they're performing at the Christchurch fundraiser one that's in LA.
Oh yeah.
Along with like Brooke Fraser and a few others.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They like
so
honestly,
cool.
it's honestly the LA fundraiser gig is like the best lineup of all the Christchurch fundraiser gigs. So,
Yeah,
like,
I mean that makes sense, right? You know.
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But like, still half of them are New Zealand artists. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So my number 4 is Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. Yes, a very basic pick, but
I wouldn't call it basic.
it's
Like-
pretty
Popular.
basic.
Yeah.
pick. That's what I mean by basic.
I mean, like, do most people listen to Pink Floyd?
I think a lot of people might say they listen to Pink Floyd.
Right.
I don't know if everyone listens to
I
Pink
guess
Floyd
Yeah.
anymore.
No, just a really good album. An album actually I've been meaning to get on vinyl for a while.
Yeah.
And haven't listened to it fully in a while, so I should listen to it again. Pink Floyd, just a fantastic band. And Dark Side of the Moon, probably one of their strongest albums, I think many people would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, just really cool. I mean, yeah, like Pink Floyd, like prog / psychedelic rock. Is that what
Yeah.
they would be categorized
Yeah.
as? Fair
Yeah.
enough, yeah. Yeah, just like, some of the songs on that album are amazing, and I've been meaning to get it on vinyl because I've noticed when I listen to vinyl, I then start, like, vinyl makes you appreciate listening to albums as full albums rather than, so I think with like listening to things in digital format, whatever format that may be, Spotify or iTunes or whatever, you definitely start listening to more like singles and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Completely disagree. I think that's just your own personal habits, especially when you listen to music on YouTube.
I want
and
to
stuff.
defend it too, and I think I've got a good argument for vinyl.
Oh, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with vinyl. I'm just saying I personally listen to albums on their own all the time. I don't think being digital has anything to do with it. I think it's just a lot of people in general listen to singles. Even when digital wasn't a thing, people still would only listen to the singles on the radio. People would even buy just single CDs. They wouldn't even buy the album.
I think with vinyl, it definitely requires a commitment. I think that
definitely.
might be closer to what it is. Like, you know, there's that whole, like, if you're sitting around and you've just got an album streaming on Spotify, you just go, oh, skip that song, but, you know, like all that crap.
Yeah, I guess so.
And
Without
with
skip
vinyl,
songs.
like, and the reason I'll only really buy a vinyl if I'm, like, in love with the album.
Right.
Because, you know, like, I don't worship vinyl, you know. I think it's cool. But it's more like the fact of you're, like, taking the time, you're putting on the record, you're chucking the needle down. It's like this ritualistic kind of thing.
No, I get that.
And, like, I think Dark Side is probably one of those albums that definitely does that. Just because of the way that the songs segue and they all kind of fit together. And, you know, you want to listen to it from front to back. You want to be able to flip over the side of the record at the exact time when that, you know. Everything just seems to make sense for that.
It's Dark Side of the Mind. Dark Side of the Mind. Dark Side of the Moon is definitely an album that I've been meaning to get on vinyl for a while. Yeah. But just haven't gotten around to it. So that's my number 4 pick, Dark Side of the Moon.
Nice pick, man.
Thank you.
My number 4 is Hunky Dory, the David Bowie record.
Hey.
It's one of his, I guess, like, first releases when he was just about to pop off. Like, this is the one he released just before he did Ziggy Stardust.
Okay. Yeah.
All that stuff. So this is kind of like he was in this weird kind of pre-glam phase where he was still using a lot of acoustic instruments. And he was just getting into, like, balladry, kind of like, but he still had a bit of that kind of fun, I don't know how to describe it. There's sort of like a mix between, like, grand songs and then really fun kind of catchy songs where he was trying a bit too hard to be like the Beatles and all that stuff. You know, but it ended up working out really well for him. The song Life on Mars is on that album.
Okay,
You've got the Bewley Brothers, I think. There's just a lot of songs on that album which people would regard as, like, the classic Bowie songs. I think there was still a bit of youth in him that kind of just gave the entire album a real, like, push.
Right.
I love it. The song Changes is on there, you know. Changes. That's like the first song on the album, opens up so well. There's a song about Andy Warhol, which is really strange. Like, it's a really odd record for a song that features, like, a couple of his big hits and everything.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, like, you know, it's Bowie's spark sort of igniting.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's
everything like
interesting.
that. Probably my favorite Bowie record.
Nice.
Good pick.
My number 4 is AM by Arctic Monkeys.
Hey.
Solid.
I remember when I first heard this album, probably like 5 years ago, right, when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first Arctic Monkeys I'd heard as well.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with it, and I had it on repeat constantly.
Yeah.
Like, literally on repeat constantly, like, all day. I was like there playing CSGO, and, like, sometimes now if I go back and play CSGO, I hear the songs in my head because of how much I played it while listening to it.
That's been made.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so cool.
And like it was around the same time that my brother was in a band in Christchurch, Black Fox Trio. Should check them out.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't exist anymore, but still, so that was around the time that they released their first single. And so what I do is like put the album on and then put the single in between the album plays, so I get one little break. And so that's also associated when I play CS:GO. Yeah. But yeah, like I just like couldn't stop jamming to it. Like it's just like it's so good.
It was when Alex Turner got sexy, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because when they kind of became popular with like today's crowd, like today's like youth and stuff.
For sure. Yeah. That was definitely, I think, the album that made them go like more because they're considered the classed as indie rock, right?
I guess
alternative rock,
whatever they are.
I think that's more when they went like quote unquote mainstream.
Oh yeah,
I think that was some of the album,
and it makes sense. The songs are really catchy, simple structures. I think it worked really well for them.
Yeah,
I think it's cool that they decided to just take a full left turn with the next one and not worry about the fact that they're about to like lose their audience by making Tranquility Base, because they did.
Oh really?
Yeah, of course they did. Like
really?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, do you remember how popular those songs were, man?
Yeah,
Do I Want to Know? Are You Mine? It was just like
so
and then
good.
They
songs.
were like, we want to make a lounge record, and they
right.
did, and then that's so like interesting, even if it wasn't my favorite album.
I have so much respect for artists who sort of more prioritize sort of their own artistic endeavors as opposed
totally
to
agree.
fan service.
I totally agree with that. That's what I think about that album, really. But funnily enough, like I've been browsing the Arctic Monkeys subreddit recently, and like a lot of people love that album.
Tranquility Base?
Yeah.
AM? Oh, yeah.
Tranquility Base. A lot of people, it's like their favorite. And
it's going to start turning around, and I think a lot of people are going to respect it even more. I do at this point. I hated it when I first listened to it.
Yeah,
like,
you
what
did.
is this?
You did.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting, AM has even kind of, it's received almost like a backlash from the fan base, I think.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were just upset because it's like Arctic Monkeys, quote unquote, went mainstream.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Who cares?
Because the same people, well, I don't know if it's the same people, but also on that subreddit, people say that AM's their least favorite. I'm like, what?
Yeah. And
this
it's
is
like,
why?
Why? It's a fun, catchy record full of like interesting songs. Like, sure, it's a bit samey, but I mean, the singles on it is just so strong.
Right.
Yeah. Let's
Funnily enough, have a guess what my number 3 pick is. It's AM by the Arctic Monkeys.
Thought it might be on the list.
So the reason why I stayed quiet during the majority of that conversation was to save what I wanted to say
so
about
you
it.
could keep your
So rather than just being like, yeah, my number 3 is Arctic Monkeys too. All right, Michael, your turn, Mo.
Right.
So with this album, similar to Ben, this was the album that got me introduced to the Arctic Monkeys. The first song that I was actually shown, funnily enough, was Do I Want to Know?
Well, it is the first one on the album. It makes sense. If you're going to listen to the album, it would be the first one you hear.
Yeah, but like
lead single.
I got shown the single.
I know what you mean.
As opposed to the entire album. And so it was interesting because I listened to Do I Want to Know, and the first time I listened to it, I didn't like it. And then I listened to it again, and then that's when I went like,
I feel like that happens a lot with music. Like a lot of the time, like new music comes out and you kind of like don't know if you like it or not, and then you listen to it a few times and you're like, oh yeah, I do like it, or yeah, I don't. Like
that's how I felt about.
It takes a while sometimes.
That's how I felt about that Green Light song by Lorde.
Oh really? Oh,
yeah.
I hated it, and I listened to it again and again. And I love it. It's in my spoiler. It's in my honorable mentions. I'll talk about it.
Really? Because funnily enough, that album's also in my honorable mentions. Cool. Actually, it almost was not my number 5. Yeah. And then I was like,
I was not debating too.
Yeah. That's so funny.
So anyway, one of the reasons why I also have AM was so in a similar vein to Dark Side of the Moon, wanted it on vinyl for ages. Mm-hmm. Finally saw it in a record store and bought it, and so now I think having it as for me personally, I think the best way for me to appreciate fully albums, like vinyl has made me appreciate albums, listening to albums in the entireties rather than cherry picking the singles. Yeah. So I very much am a person who listens to singles and so AM just amazing. Like we've mentioned, like you guys have both mentioned, so many amazing singles on there. And so by getting getting it on vinyl has made me listen to like the full album through.
Yes.
And just appreciate it even more.
Some really good stuff in there.
Yeah, so that's my number 3 pick.
Cool.
AM.
All right. My number 3. This was actually going to be number 1 until I found 2 albums that kind of got me a tiny bit more than this one. But it's came out a few years ago now. Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly.
Oh,
probably
meaning
like
to listen to it.
Yeah, and it's to me like it really like trumps every other hip hop album I've ever listened to in my life. It's like this extremely elaborate, just it's not even a collection of songs. It really does feel like it could be a movie. It could be on the stage. It's just there's so much detail in every single song. And you're looking at this guy, this upstart rapper who just, I don't know if he won any Grammys for his previous album or what happened there with Good Kid, Mad City. But I know, it was very well, like, critically acclaimed, all of that stuff. And he took it upon himself to collaborate with, like, so many musicians. Like, the list of people on this, like, on To Pimp a Butterfly is just huge. And it's just people like Thundercat, this guy Kamasi Washington, absolutely amazing saxophone player. Just all these incredible musicians coming together to make an album that tells a sort of fractured story of life from Kendrick Lamar's perspective. And it's just so huge, ambitious, full of just, like, these anti-pop, like, screw the charts songs. Like there's a song called For Free where he just talks about like his dick and just like hating on this woman who like just like wants too much from him or expects too much from him, and he just like raps at this like breakneck pace while this like crazy free jazz is playing in the background. Obama loves this album. That's why I would say it's probably worth a pick. I think it's just like it really is an essential listen for someone who's willing to listen to somebody like Kendrick Lamar and like just hear how intelligent he is when he's talking about life from his own sort of African-American rapper perspective.
Interesting. Yeah. That's really interesting to hear, like, you talk about it that way, because like, I've always dismissed rappers, because, like, I've just never been
into... Never do it, man. They're poets.
I've just never been into rap, right?
Do it. I mean, listen to rap.
But, like, the way you talk about that, I'm just like, damn, maybe I should.
So for me, To Pimp a Butterfly is an album that and while I was making this list, I sort of like remembered like To Pimp it, because I haven't listened to Pimp a Butterfly. Like I've listened to a couple of songs from it, but I haven't listened to the full thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, shit, I need to listen to it. Yeah. And so you talking about it sort of reminded me that I need to listen to more rap. Yeah. To inspire my own shit.
I mean, it's developing, but I mean, if you're looking at that kind of rapper, somebody like a Kendrick or even a Kanye, or anyone, I guess, really, but Kendrick definitely himself falls into the vein of people who are almost like poets,
Yeah.
They're showing you their perspective on so many different topics, and all these songs are about topics. They're not just about let me boast, even though that in itself is really cool when people are boastful and like it's an interesting part of the culture. But like he's basically showing you an entirely different perspective on the way life works than you might have ever heard before. And he's just telling it to you in like through these crazy jazz songs and beats and everything like that. And it's incredible. Like it's really cool. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Favorite Worst Nightmare by the Arctic Monkeys.
Hey.
I was like originally like I didn't have AM on the list because I didn't like I was kind of like you was like maybe I shouldn't have multiple of the same on the list, but I was like nah, but I can't do that because it's just like so good. So I had put AM on there. That's what wiped Lord off the board. Was putting AM in there. Yeah. But yeah, Favorite Worst Nightmare. I was jamming to this on the way here with Michael, and it's just like
good album.
I just like when I like because originally I listened to AM and I was like I really loved it, and then I kind of clicked on a few tracks from their earlier albums, and I'm like I don't know if I like that. Like it's a bit too hard rock for me. But then finally I decided to like give him a chance, and when I actually listened through this album, I was just like, this is just such a good jam. Yeah. Like the whole way through is just like solid jam, I guess. And so yeah, one of my favorites. I don't know what else there's to say, but I know you have things to say, surely.
Oh yeah, I mean I think it's really cool. It's like the first 5 songs are just it's like 4 or 5 songs. Yeah, they're just all really short and they're all insanely fast.
Yeah. And
it's just like this assault of like, oh, remember that last album that was like hype as? Yeah, we're not going to stop now. Like we're going to keep going and just keep like shoving our obnoxious, rash, young British faces, straight into your face, And like it's amazing, and like the fact that it goes from that and then it sort of like worms like through like there was like this weird, I forgot what it was even called, but it's like a bit of like a bossa nova style like chill like thing going on. I don't remember what the song's called.
Can't remember.
And then like it ends up with 505, which is like so different.
That's a good song.
Because the rest of the songs, or at least a lot of the other songs, are sort of like Alex Turner like posturing kind of showing his like power and sort of his dominance over the scene, and like he's like it all just feels really angry.
Right.
And then like 505 is almost like a stripping back of the ego, and he's like basically whining about a girl,
Right.
you know, and like being emotionally detached from her and all that stuff. Yeah, I love Favorite Worst Nightmare. Sorry, I feel like I'm just talking about.
No, you're not. You had way more interesting things to say than I did. I was just like, I love Jam It, and then you're like,
it's so much more,
analyzing it and everything.
It's like a mature version of the album that preceded it.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
like slightly more.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
My number 2 pick is Nirvana's MTV Unplugged in New York. So an interesting pick
Nice.
with Nirvana, because I feel like most people would say Nevermind, but I was like, nah. MTV Unplugged in New York. Oh, okay, so like this is, so I don't know how many times I've listened to like the entire album through or watched the entire concert.
So this is a live album, yes?
Yes.
The acoustic one?
Yes.
Yeah.
1993, I believe. It was like 6 months before Kurt passed away.
Yeah.
It's just amazing because they take their major hits like Come As You Are, strip all them down to acoustic, play them acoustically, which is really interesting. Dave Grohl even strips down his drumming. You know, like Dave Grohl's like known for like his insane drumming, and he's easily one of the greatest drummers of all time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so interesting to see him sort of like I don't want to say hold back, but hold back.
Oh yeah.
And then just like, you know, you've got Lake of Fire and The Man Who Sold the World, a cover, David Bowie cover actually, funnily enough, which is amazing. I actually heard The Man Who Sold the World before Nirvana's version before I heard Bowie's version.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those people. But I prefer, I think, and I said it during the covers when we did top 5 covers, I think one of the best things to do with covers is like what makes a good cover is if an artist makes it their own, sort of outshines the original, and I think that's the case with,
I feel the same
with Nirvana's version. And then it ends with then the album ends with Where Did You Sleep Last Night, which is that song gives me chills, man. Like especially if you look at the actual video recording of it, which I recommend because you see this moment and you don't see it if you listen to the song. So I can't remember the exact line, but he like screams, like shivers, and then he closes his eyes. He looks at he and then he opens his eyes, and just the look on his in his eyes is just the most creepiest, spine tingling thing I've ever seen. Yeah, and it's like, you can't really explain it unless you see it. So go watch it.
Kurt's a really cool performer.
Yeah. And it's just, it's an amazing album. And Nirvana, one of my favorite bands, one of my favorite artists.
Nice, man.
Very stripped down grunge, grungy and angsty, which I love. Yeah, that's my number 2 pick.
All right, number 2 for me. Let's see. I'm thinking between number 2 and number 1, trying to see which one actually deserves number 1.
Oh, really?
Okay, no, I'll stick with what I had written down, actually. So my number 2 is an album called In Rainbows by Radiohead.
Okay,
Who are really, I mean, I don't know, most people know Radiohead, right?
Yeah.
Like, sort of. You know, they know them somewhat. This is more like a, I guess, mid to late career release from them. And, 2007. And what they did is they, just like to give some background on the album, I guess, they released it online in a pay what you want model. So as long as you paid something, actually, I don't even know if you had to pay like $1 or what, but it was like, pay what you want for this album and you can get it for, whatever. Yeah. So it was like a completely different model. I don't know if they like released it under a label or if it was just them, but they ended up doing a proper release later. But that was sort of an important thing for music, I think. And it definitely precedes some of the stuff now about like the age of streaming and paying less for music overall. Yeah. All of that stuff. But to talk about the album, it's basically 10 tracks. Some of them are like older songs that they hadn't put down on an album yet. All that, but it comes together in a really interesting and beautiful way. Most of the songs are quite ethereal and airy and spare. There's a lot of kind of play with space on the album. It feels to me like a really intelligent alternative rock album that is always beautiful, sometimes aggressive, but overall really airtight. No way I could really say anything negative about the album. And it ends with this ballad called Videotape, which is just like basically 4 chords over and over again quite fast. And he's just sort of like, I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't have many words to say about this album, I'll be honest. Like, not as many as others. But it's just a really beautifully well put together album that touches on a lot of really nice topics. The singing is beautiful. The performing is beautiful. Instrumentation is beautiful. highly recommend listening to it.
Lovely, absolutely lovely. No,
Lovely
I totally
title.
get what you're saying when you like don't have words for it. I was like that last week, eh?
Yeah.
And, like I just love this because it's just like so beautiful, but like I can't like put it into words. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
Literally me, 90% of the time with my top 5 list
it's
is
cool.
just like, this thing's cool, go watch it or listen to it or whatever the
Yeah, I
case may
feel
be.
that. I feel that.
My number 2 album, Surprise Surprise, is from John Mayer. It is Where the Light Is, live in Los Angeles. So this album it actually was the first of John Mayer that I'd actually listened to properly, apart from Waiting on the World to Change, which was in Evan Almighty. So I heard that song beforehand. It's like his most famous song anyway, so of course most people have heard that. Yeah, so this album was a live performance from him where he did 3 sets. He came out and famously opened for himself. It did his own like acoustic opener.
Yes.
Then came in with the John Mayer trio, him, Steve Jordan, and Penn and Palladino, and they jammed it out. And then he came for a 3rd set with his full band, and it is just hands down. If you don't really know any John Mayer or anything, that's the one I recommend. Like listen to that album, at least listen to the acoustic set and the full band set. If you don't want to listen to the whole thing, the trio stuff, I love the trio stuff as well, but it's slightly different, I guess, depending on what you want. I don't know, but like, man, that album, I don't really listen to it that much, but like, oh, it's just so great. It's just like because it encompasses so many different things. It's like the best of John Mayer that we've got so far, because he hasn't done another live album since, which I'm so mad about. But he's been like teasing in like a couple videos he's posted from the tour that he might be releasing some recordings. And so I really hope that happens. I hope like they actually mix a proper album and not just like release some stuff that they recorded off the sound disc, because like, I don't know, I just feel like that's just like lazy, in my opinion. It's like, if you can mix an album and make it sound great, and like, why wouldn't you? I don't know.
He's a good performer, man.
Yeah, man.
He's crazy player.
Yeah, and he's way better now than he ever used to be as well.
Yeah.
Because I saw him 5 years ago now, and I thought at the time like, yeah, it was cool, I guess. That's kind of what my feelings were. Yeah. And I saw him again a couple of weeks ago, and holy crap, it's the best thing I've ever heard. Like, he was just fantastic.
Oh yeah.
And it was mixed really well as well, so like I could actually hear everything. Seriously great performer. And if you want to hear just some of the maddest guitar, go check out that album. He's even madder now, but you'll still hear some great stuff in that album.
I think I've said the quote before, but
you definitely have.
Jad, have you heard the John Mayer quote where he said, "Who I am as a guitarist is defined by my failure to become Jimi Hendrix."
Oh, I love that. That's hilarious.
Yeah. I love that so much.
Yeah.
All right, so my honorable mentions.
Oh, is that how we do it?
Yeah, which surprisingly which I didn't write down, but I actually have them in my head. So, for once, Matt's somewhat prepared. All right, so firstly, 2 of these picks are basically as a result of my no repeating artist rule. So I had to leave them off the list because of that rule. And that is both Dookie by Green Day as well as 21st Century Breakdown.
Both Green Day albums.
Wait, but you didn't have a Green Day in your top 5?
Whoops, I just spoiled my number 1.
Oh, no, there we go.
That's all good.
I think
we don't know what one it is.
I know.
I do.
I definitely know because he's talked about it before.
Yeah. So those were 2.
You shouldn't have said that.
Yeah,
man.
That's cool. That's cool. Come on, let's hit
so yeah, Dookie is an amazing album again that I have on vinyl. Yeah, Dookie's an amazing album. You know, sort of their first album, I believe, that they released on a major label. Like, I think Dookie was sort of before they went, because there's always an argument of whether Green Day's punk or not, which I would argue they are.
I feel like it doesn't even matter.
Doesn't matter, yeah. It's also a good thing. That's a good point as well with the whole like it doesn't matter thing, because it's punk. The whole point of punk is sticking it to the man, right, and being like, yo,
sure,
society's fucked basically.
Yeah,
let's make it better, right? So it's like
their songs have never really been that,
yeah,
or at least not at that point. They were definitely more just like talking about like being bored and like smoking weed and like just being like silly kids, really.
Pretty much, yeah. Especially on Dookie as well.
Oh yeah, well I mean that's Dookie. That's Longview.
Yeah, literally a song about procrastination and
masturbation.
Masturbation, yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, so you know, and again on the whole thing of amazing number of singles on that record, and definitely from getting it on vinyl has made me appreciate the album even more. 21st Century Breakdown, similar factor of very few albums that I listen to fully the way through.
Yeah.
21st Century Breakdown. I've been listening to that full album through for ages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so those 2 picks. Final honorable mention is Wasting Light by the Foo Fighters. I believe it.
Yes.
Wasting Light was
the one they recorded in the garage.
Yeah, it was analog, right? Recorded on analog, didn't they?
Yeah,
on
they
the garage?
just set up some shit in his
Yeah.
garage, bro.
Yeah.
Which is just an amazing. Which is I love that.
Yeah.
That style. That's dope. Yeah, and just again, some real good singles on there. You know that came out of that album. None of which I can remember off the top of my head because I'm tired and I can't remember.
These
anything.
days, Walk, Rope.
Rope, man.
There you
Oh,
go.
man.
There you go. Just some amazing, some amazing songs on there.
Yeah.
So a fantastic record. If you haven't listened to it, you should. That's another record I should probably get. So those are my honorable mentions.
Oh, so we go around in circle and just do
Yeah.
honorables.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I have quite a few. I'll cut one off because it's I know it'll be mentioned at some point, so I'm going to cut off that honorable mention.
Well, now I'm curious.
Oh, my honorable mention is Matt's number 1, so I don't want to.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Other than that, I have 4. I'll talk about them quickly. Okay, so first of all, we've got an album by a band called The Microphones. Well, it was actually one guy, called The Glow Part 2. Basically, a really strange, kind of mostly acoustic, but gets kind of like really, really, really heavy, crazy at certain points. A collection of really, really, really kind of short, interesting songs. This young dude ruminating on life, death, love, all sorts of things against a very strange background that kind of feels like it almost like the first song opens up and you feel like he's playing a guitar made out of like just like a straight up like tree branch. Like you feel like he's just playing a tree branch. Like the way that he's like manipulated the sound just makes everything sound like it rings out strangely, naturally. You're kind of in this like environment.
That sounds so weird, but
Yeah,
so
that
cool.
sounds
Yeah,
pretty
and
crazy.
it's just, there's a lot of like production tricks. There's a lot of talk about kind of isolation, etc. Half the songs end with this like weird kind of like dum sound that's like really far in the background. I don't know, man. The whole thing just feels very like you get a sense of dread. You really do. You get a real sense of dread listening to this guy. It's just this young dude with like a squeaky ass voice talking about the meaning of life on this planet and how he feels about possibly not having a meaning here. It's a bit nihilistic. It's a bit of a nihilistic album. Yeah, very beautiful stuff. Okay, 3 more.
Just by the way, you don't have to take as long as Matt does talking about your honorable mentions. You can just fire away.
It's cool. I just wanted to talk about that one.
Yeah, fair enough.
We've got Melodrama by Lorde. Very fantastic, just beautiful pop album that is full of youth, man. It's just young. You can feel her just like holding on to her kind of teenage angst, but like elevating it in a really interesting way. It's so emotional. And just so like throw everything and make it the most pop album.
Right.
Like it just feels like something that if Taylor Swift was like a really, really, really good, talented person all the time. And I don't mind some Taylor Swift, but I feel like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like this is what a pop album should be.
Right. That's really interesting. Cause I find it so interesting, like with Lorde, especially like that.
Yeah.
Most people still only know like 4 of her songs tops, you know? Like, I'm like, oh, I love Lorde, but how many songs you heard? Oh, like, I don't know, like Greenlight and like Royals, you know.
But the album is just bliss.
But like because what you were saying about Greenlight before, I still kind of don't like that song.
Oh.
Like I like it a lot more now than I used to when it first came out. But at first I was just like, this is lame, this is dumb. And like it's the first track on the record and it's like, it's the one that's meant to hit the radio. And like that happens with almost every album that comes out. You know, there's one track at least, like I know Coldplay always does it. They always have like 1 or 2 that's like made for the radio, you know, and you hear it and it's just like, But then the rest of that album, I love. Yeah,
it's called Melodrama for a reason.
Right.
I think every song is overly dramatic and crazy and like
an
ode to just being young and everything being the biggest, most important thing in the world. Like
so true.
There's even a bit where it's like an ode to partying, like Homemade Dynamite.
Right.
It's like
yeah.
partying taken to the extreme. Like she even fantasizes about a car crash in that song. She's like, will be painted on the road, like red and gold, something like all the broken glass sparkling. I guess we're partying.
Right.
Something like that. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, I love it. Okay, and then my other 2 honorable mentions are Melophobia by Cage the Elephant. Really good album. Very odd alternative rock album that goes down some interesting directions. Won't talk about it too much. And The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill by Lauryn Hill. Out in the 90s, debut album by Lauryn Hill, who was a singer in a band called the Fugees. It's just a really good record filled with a really interesting R&B, hip-hop, soul. Amazing voice, amazing vocals. That's all I have to say.
I really love the title of that album.
Oh, it
sounds really intriguing.
It's really good.
I'm going to go fairly quick. I've got a few. I'm actually gonna just not mention some of them because I got so many. Anyway, Milo Xylotto by Coldplay. This is like my introduction to Coldplay, really.
Wow.
And I know it's a lot of people like hate that album, and
That's
I
cool,
think
bro.
I kind of just like I probably don't listen to it very much anymore. But like I just remember at the time how much I love this album, and that's kind of why I put it on the list.
I love that song, Major Minus. Is that
Right.
what it's called?
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah.
Oh, bro. So
Yeah. I think it still holds up as like a real great album. And there's a couple weak tracks in there, but like it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Echo Silence, Patience and Grace, and Wasting Light by Foo Fighters.
Hey,
Love both of those.
yeah. Good
Yeah,
picks.
like that's the best of the Foo Fighters in my opinion.
Yeah,
And
fair.
then similarly, Born and Raised and Continuum by John Mayer, which are the best two John Mayer albums in my opinion. At least like that's his best music. It's not the best way to hear. Oh, it is the best way you can hear Born and Raised, but the Continuum stuff is heard better live in the Where the Light Is, for example. But like that's like
yeah.
the album with his best tracks. I was gonna mention Purpose by Justin Bieber because seriously, when this came out, I was so impressed because
yeah.
I hated who didn't hate Justin Bieber,
A lot
right?
of people didn't. Yeah. Like him very much.
And then like this album came out, I was like, this is good. This is really good.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like really pleasantly surprised at how good that was. I don't really listen to that much anymore either, but I definitely loved that when it came out. And Cloud 9 by Kygo. This is a really solid album. Like every track's just like you feel it. It's just like I don't know how to describe it. It's a good one. Truth Is a Beautiful Thing by London Grammar. I think it's the better of their albums. It's just like real deep. I don't know what else to say. I always say I don't know what else to say, and I'm just wasting everyone's time.
It's cool.
Melodrama by Lord, obviously.
Fuck yeah.
Waking Up by One Republic. Man.
Wow.
Hey.
One Republic, man. I trash
Classic.
that band.
I know you do, but
Yeah.
like classic One Republic, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
You got to give it to them for that album. After Laughter and Riot by Paramore. I love both of those albums. They're both like on opposite ends of their career, but I love them both.
What ones did you say?
After
Riot?
Laughter, which is their most recent,
Yeah.
and Riot, which was their second album.
Nice.
Riot's just such a jam. And then After Laughter is obviously completely different because they've moved totally in another direction, which I love. And I love them both. I think it's really great. I was pleasantly surprised by that album as well. Hill Climber by Wolfpack as well. I want to mention because like I was jamming this so hard when it came out.
Yeah.
Like even I think mostly it's just for the first like 4 tracks. They're just like such great jams. And We Started Nothing by the Ting Tings, which I have to mention.
All right, hold on. I'm just gonna stand up because my ass hurts. So.
Oh, go ahead.
All good.
I originally wasn't going to mention it because I have talked about it before, but I just like it's too good. It's too good not to mention.
Just need one.
Oh man, that's all good, man. That's all good. Are you cold?
No, I'm fantastic.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Sweet as.
Yeah, man.
All right. So my number one, which I accidentally spoiled. Let's see if anyone's surprised about it. It's American Idiot by Green Day. What an album. Probably my favorite Green Day album other than Dookie. I'd say Dookie and American Idiot probably my two
Well, if
favorites.
it wasn't your favorite, why would it be your number
it's
one?
definitely your favorite.
Yeah. First album that I remember listening to like all the way through.
Oh yeah, nice.
Also the album that got me into Green Day as well. Yeah, I mean, really like politically charged. The entire album's just politically charged as hell. Definitely also the cool thing about it as well is the fact that it's, you know, a concept album and the fact that it tells a story throughout the entire thing. Like you sort of have to listen to the full album to get the vibe of the story, which is really cool.
Yeah, there's like characters and everything.
Yeah, there's like characters. There's a storyline there going on. It's interesting as well. I can't remember who mentioned it, but someone mentioned an album telling like an album could be one of your guys' picks was, I think it was yours, Michael.
Are you talking about To Pimp a Butterfly?
Yeah. The fact that it could feel like a movie or a show or whatever.
Yeah.
American Idiot, I feel differently.
Well, they've done a stage show for
Well,
it.
they've done a
haven't they?
stage show,
they've
yeah.
done a show,
There's been talk about a movie for a while, but it hasn't happened. Yeah, so definitely it feels like that as well, you know, because obviously the fact that it's a concept album and it tells a story. Yeah, and the thing that I like about it as well is obviously the fact that it's politically charged, and me being a very political person, which I feel like it's become quite clear over the course of the running of this podcast. It's cool that it has that politically charged aspect to it, which I find interesting, and the fact that it was, you know, it was relevant, you know, it was put out during the Bush administration. Yeah. And now it's sort of relevant again with Trump.
Yeah, a lot of people would say that,
Yeah, which I find really interesting. I mean, I think the interesting thing with just Green Day as a whole is people were like, they had I can't remember where they played, it was like the Billboard, like a Billboard Music Awards or something that they played, and they chanted, no Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA.
Oh, yeah.
And with that performance, the huge reaction was, when did Green Day get so political? And it's like, have you listened to their shit? They've always been political.
I mean, American Idiot is like literally, like the song.
Yeah.
American Idiot is just like a anti-Bush.
Yeah.
You know, same with like quite a few other songs on that album.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's my number one. American Idiot, fantastic album.
It's a real landscape.
Oh my God, I love it. Yeah.
Like that Jesus is Suburbia song. It's like 9 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Nuts. Is it me?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Lay it on us.
My number one is Abbey Road.
Ah.
The Beatles.
A little known band.
The little known band, the Beatles. Yeah, I mean, I love the Beatles. I love everything they do. I think they haven't, like, apart from, I mean, Let It Be was kind of strange. I don't know. But for me, Abbey Road being basically the last thing they did, really, like Let It Be, you know, whatever. But Abbey Road is the last time they all kind of sat around together and just put together like something incredible. And it's almost like them at the height of their powers, sending everyone off by going, yeah, we're the fucking Beatles. There's like every single song on there is crazy. There's like even Octopus's Garden is on there. And there's like it was just crazy. But there's like, you know, Here Comes the Sun, I Want You Shoes So Heavy, Come Together.
Yeah, that's such Beatles a good song
ever, really. And then it all wraps up with this like crazy medley of various short songs, and it feels kind of nuts and crazy, creatively ambitious, well recorded, well performed. All their voices just are beautiful. Everything's just amazing about it to me. I think there's no better way to sort of send off what could be like the greatest band ever, except with an album that's like that level of ambitious, that level of like just high quality stuff thrown together, all at Abbey Road Studios, you know. There's just, they've had more like creative albums in terms of things like Sgt. Pepper's, where it's like kind of more wild, I guess, and Abbey Road is definitely like more straightforward rock. You can feel, you know, the grey coming through their hair a little bit. It just feels that little bit more mature, that little bit more pared back in terms of like structured songwriting. But yeah, every song on there bangs, like straight up bangs. And I like listen to this album probably like 100 times.
Yeah,
you know, like I just put it on every single time and come together as an amazing song. Yeah, that's it. That's Abbey Road.
Good pick.
I just want to say I'm so glad we got you on to talk about albums. Cause
why?
The way you talk about music.
I just talk too much.
No. It's just beautiful.
I'd be happy to come back.
I mean,
honestly,
if like me and Matt did this on our own, we'd be done in like 10 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like,
no.
Yeah.
Don't be sorry.
You make us look like I remember it was a mate of mine. Funnily enough, and I feel the same way about you and how you talk about music. I commented on his YouTube channel on one of his videos. I said, the way you talk about music, like your music taste, makes me feel like an uneducated hillbilly, where people fuck their cousins.
Right.
And I think you definitely apply to that sentiment.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll definitely take that.
Nice. Well, my number one's funny because it's from probably one of my least favorite artists working today.
What? What do you mean?
And that's Songs About Jane by Maroon 5.
Oh, yeah, okay, I get you.
Oh my goodness, I love this album.
It
slaps. This is another one of those that I would just put on repeat, like alongside AM. Man, it's just everything needed in an album. Yeah. If you ask me, like
it's sexy.
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
Fucking sexy.
Yeah, man. But yeah, and then it's just like I don't disrespect, like, because I've had conversations about this before where I'm like, I always talk about, I've said it even on this podcast just now, that how I love when artists move on and do something different creatively.
Yeah.
And like, I guess they just went the wrong different. You know what I mean? In my
Yeah.
opinion, anyway. I guess
Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
they saw the cash money and they went that way. I guess so. But like whatever, they still have a great album that I can listen to as much as I want and enjoy as much as I want without listening to anything else. So I'm gonna keep doing that.
Yeah, man. Songs about Jane's fucking cool. Like This Love and She Will Be Loved.
Yeah, for sure.
They're classics.
They
Oh,
are.
yeah.
Like no one will ever
100%.
take that away from them. Even
Yeah.
like they're a joke now. Like, people like when he performed at the Super Bowl or whatever and fucking
Oh,
took his
yeah.
clothes off, that was
Oh,
the
man.
funniest shit I've ever seen. In my life. Oh, and by the way, probably my least favorite song ever. Like if I ever come back and we do like 5 least favorite songs, Payphone will be number 1.
Oh, absolutely.
Shittiest song I've ever heard in my
Absolutely.
entire life. I hate it. I hate it.
I
can't
hate that you
stand
just
it.
mentioned it
Like,
because now it's
yeah.
in my head and I'm just like, ah.
Kill me right now. Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
That's-
man.
That's
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, we suck at segues on this show.
Mostly you suck at segues.
I suck at segues.
How about you give me a chance? Give me a chance.
Oh well, I was gonna just make a comment about segues being a form of transport, and that's what we're talking about for our main
That's
topic
actually a
today.
really brilliant segue. I'm sorry I interrupted you. Oh, I feel bad now.
Yeah. So that's the segue. We're talking about public transport.
Just before we get to this, are Lime scooters considered public transport?
Sure. Well, we can add that to the mix. Why not?
No. They're not public transport because
Well, what's the definition of public transport?
well, public transport is like run by the government, right? Or run by
I guess
council,
so, yeah.
right? It's like
I'm gonna search
Okay.
up the
Open
for
definition of
everyone,
public
like-
transport.
Yeah.
while you guys talk.
Lime's like an independent business.
Yeah, I just wonder because they're like made
Because that's
available.
that's like saying Uber is public transport. It's not.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it still can be part of the conversation. It's just, I wouldn't call it quote unquote public transport.
Okay.
It's not a public, it's like for you personally to go where you want. It's not like a public route going down a set, you know?
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so public transport, noun, buses, trains, and other forms of transport that are available to the public, charge set fares and run on fixed routes.
There you
yeah.
go. See,
okay,
there you
so
go.
the government. Yeah.
Fixed
Yeah.
routes.
I
That's
get
kind
you.
of the,
Yeah. I
Killer.
guess it makes sense. Yeah. Public.
but we can still talk about it because it's definitely an important thing to talk about when talking about public transport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So
the reason I thought this was fitting because
yeah.
I know you use it a lot, don't you?
I
Public
do.
transport. Yeah.
I do. I bus to work
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I used to do that. I used to be a busser.
yeah,
and then-
I'm in the same, well, similar boat. In terms
for different
of,
reasons, though,
Yeah.
you just can't get your license.
Test is really hard. Okay.
Oh, I'm on my learner's license.
Wait, what?
I'm on my learner's license.
Yeah, I'm on my learners.
I don't
Yeah.
care about driving at all.
I just
I don't care.
I just
don't
keep-
care.
I used to have
Same
that
in the
attitude,
case.
eh? I
Yeah.
used to, and then it's like I'm trying to get in the film industry, and like every job, like they want you to have a license. So
yeah,
like, I
for
better,
sure.
yeah.
For sure.
I'm not like dogging on you guys for not having a license, like seriously,
think
because I used to be
yeah.
just like you. I did,
Yeah.
Used to be
Um,
just like you.
I did. Now I've fallen into the horrible trap that is owning a car in Auckland
yeah, pretty
and
much.
using the northern motorway. Oh
Going for
god, it's
petrol.
awful. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think though Michael and I have our licenses for two very different reasons.
Yeah.
Michael doesn't care. I just can't pass.
I've never taken the restricted test, so
Yeah.
I have no way of really knowing if I'd pass or not. I'd probably do okay. Okay, so what do we have?
So like, how bad is it in Auckland, man?
Public transport.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I'm a slight defender of the system.
Okay. Okay.
I think people might expect a bit too much out of public transport. End of the day, it's like it's a service that we're being given that is extremely convenient to us.
Yeah.
But I
Well.
do think the government's sort of talk about wanting to make it better, like they need to make it better then.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, what they're trying to do, I think, with public transport, or what they want to do, is they're trying to drive people away from using cars, because cars are
Yeah.
bad for the environment. They clog up the roads. We don't want to build more roads because that would be fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that case, it's not enough. But in my personal experience, in terms of what I need, I don't need any more than I've got right now.
Yeah.
Northern Express, yeah, they're full, whatever.
Yeah.
They come every like 1 minute in the morning.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
insane how many buses there are.
I agree with like that
Yeah.
side of it, especially if it's just you're busking into town. Like
Yeah.
I've found in Auckland when I'm going either into town or out of town or whatever, like going on a single direction on a single route, it's good.
Yeah.
But if I want to go like all the way across town, then I have to get like 3 different buses or trains or whatever, and like the transfer process is just I just hate transferring, I guess.
I gotta say, I love trains.
Right.
Trains are amazing.
The train,
If we had trains up here on the shore,
yeah,
it would be better.
Yeah, I mean they were originally gonna do like an underground train like 40 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, nah, fuck all that. That's way too much money.
But like it would have been so worth it. I mean, like if you think about Lake Road and how clogged that gets, if there was a train went underneath, like instead of like them having to go all the way around and
I mean, I'm similar to you in the fact of with riding the Northern Busway. Like I find that easy as
it's way better than driving, for sure. I hate the Northern motorway. Sitting on that motorway. Luckily, I don't have to use it anymore to get to work, because I go out west. But I shouldn't have said that. Cut that out.
It doesn't really matter.
Cut
no
that out.
No,
okay. No, you're right. There's plenty of places out west I could be.
There's millions of people in Auckland.
Yeah. Anyway, what I found though, I found some real annoying things when I was first starting out, like that were just like unclear, like communications unclear. Like I've never found a map of the Auckland transport system. There's nothing online, nothing on their website that just has all the routes or whatever that I've found.
And like a proper map, eh?
Yeah, just like a map.
Yeah.
Only map I've ever seen was when I was at the airport. I was on the Sky Bus or the 380 or whatever it is, on the other airport bus. Anyway, and we went past a bus station. I saw a map, and it was like a partial route map of like South Auckland-ish area, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was like, where's the big version of that with all the routes? And it just doesn't. Maybe there was a new map. There might have been a new map actually when the new North Shore bus routes came out.
Yeah, because now I've noticed
Can't remember.
not full maps of the entire system,
but like a North Shore map,
like North Shore
maps
and that, since they've changed it.
Yeah.
But that just frustrated me.
So
I remember
got that now.
One thing that frustrated me so much. I was using the AT app. I was trying to get. I was going out to. I think I was going out west. And so I got the Northern Express down to Britomart, and it told me to catch. I've forgotten the situation now. I think it told me the name of the line, like the Western line, right? So I needed to catch the Western line. So I get there, and on the display at Britomart, it doesn't say west or north or south. It doesn't say what line it is. It just says the destination. I'm like,
dumb.
How am I supposed to know the destination? All I know is the line. You go down to the platforms, it doesn't say. It's just guesswork, I guess. I don't know. I had to ask someone, like, is this the West train? It's like, like simple things like that just frustrate me.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Like, it just seems like those things are easy.
I think from a perspective of, because I've gone traveling quite a bit, I guess it puts Auckland's transport system into effect when you go to somewhere like London.
Yeah.
Which is like the easiest city.
Yeah, I love London.
You got the tube.
To get around.
Man.
Jumping on the tube was like super easy.
Yeah, man.
That's
so cool.
Actually,
so that puts it into perspective when you go to countries with good systems, and with the what you were mentioning, the fact that there's no full map. With the underground system in London, there was a map, so Ben would have been very happy.
I was happy. I loved
that.
Like, I was the guy, like, on our family trip when we were there, I was like all over that. Same deal when we were in Athens. There was a similar system, and I was like all about like knowing which one. The only one that was confusing, Paris, man. That's confusing. There's like multiple different networks, I guess, train networks. And there was like one instance where there were two like suburbs or station names that were the same. We ended up going the wrong direction for like 20 minutes, going towards this wrong place. We had to get off the train, and then we had to get a taxi back because it was too late at night to get another one.
Oh no!
I reckon they should give out awards.
It's a little bit confusing in Paris, but London, man, that was great. Athens was great.
Yeah.
I reckon they should give out awards for like cities, the best public transport system.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like London. What would be on the top? Surely like London, or
I don't know enough.
Like the ones that come to mind is like London and New York.
I reckon San Francisco's got the most hilarious one, just because their city's so like steep and hilarious.
Yeah,
like have to use these like trams.
The trams. Yeah.
I love that.
Having said what I did just say though, that was over 10 years ago when I was there. So maybe it's better now. Who knows?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I had an incredible dream. I've always been scared of double-decker buses for some reason.
Really?
Because when there's lots of people on them, you can like feel the bus like swaying.
Yeah.
You know? Like it's fucking freaky, man. And I just had this dream about this like last night, about this bus that like tipped and I was on top. but we all knew it was going to happen, so we braced and we were like ready. We were like, all right, let's do it. We just like felt this bus just slap on.
Oh man.
And we like get out, and everyone's just like, and we're like, I did like an interview with the news. Yeah, and that was really cool. It was a very vivid dream. Yeah, so Lime scooters.
Oh.
Let's.
Yeah, spill some tea. What's your hot take?
I don't really have a hot take on Lime scooters. I just think they're really funny. It's
right.
It's so beautiful to like watch all of these businessmen of varying ages just like zooming down the road on like a bright green scooter. It's really become like this cultural icon.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful. Yeah.
I love them as a concept, and I think they're great. Like, but here in Auckland, anyway, they don't work outside of the city. Like they're not a huge thing on the North Shore. If they
it's all memes.
And like on the North Shore, it's like so hilly anyway. Like you can probably barely get anywhere if you did have one here. But like as a concept, like I do like them. But like I think I mentioned this before on the podcast. I went to Christchurch and tried them there, and because Christchurch is all flat, apart from Port Hills, but like pretty much all Christchurch is all flat, so you can get anywhere on a line.
How do they work?
And I loved that.
What do you use? Do you accelerate or do you just sort of like go in there?
No, there is an accelerator. So like there's like a motorbike, I guess. Like a certain level of acceleration you can have on or off. Yeah, like as in like.
Oh, you control it with like your hand.
Yeah, with your finger, with your thumb. Yeah.
Do you brake with your foot? Or do you brake?
No, there's a right like a bike brake on your left hand side.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how they work. So I really loved it in Christchurch because it's real easy and you can get anywhere. In Auckland, it just doesn't work in this city. I used to not like that there weren't enough on the North Shore, and then I realized like it's the hills, like they just can't. Like it just wouldn't be very good. They just get stuck at the bottom of some hill.
Do you ever charge a Lime scooter?
No, I haven't.
Do you ever do that thing? My friend was like real into the idea for a while. He was like hoard Lime scooters basically, and like he was like gonna find this room where he could just take like 6 Lime scooters at a time and just charge them because you make money doing it. And it was going to be like his little side income, like, which is, it's nice. It's cleaner than, doing something illegal for something.
Sure.
But
I've heard that it doesn't pay that well really when you consider how much you have to pay in petrol
how much
anyway.
Work you have to do to go and
and power.
These scooters. Yeah. Well, not steal, but
appropriate.
Round them up.
Yeah. The one thing I did run around. Are we done with limes? I mean, what else is there to say on limes?
You can say what you want.
Yeah.
About anything.
The one other thing I really want to rant about. I feel like no one listens to this. I feel like more people should be talking about this. Do you know what I mean?
I don't.
Well, I don't know.
Well, I haven't said it yet.
Yeah,
but it just bugs me so much because everyone experiences this and no one actually thinks about it.
Come on.
Bus shelters are designed wrong. They're designed the way you sit down on a bus shelter. You're looking straight ahead. But that's not where you want to look because you're always going to be looking to the right, or if you're in another country, maybe to the left, to see if the bus is coming, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be like looking this way and then the bus just goes past because you weren't looking. And you also...
That happened to me the other day.
So instead of just turning...
No, but the thing about turning is like your neck gets real sore. Okay, you're sitting like this for 20 minutes waiting for a bus. Your neck's going to get sore.
What are you talking about? You just wait until it's like almost time.
No, but how do you know what time it is? Buses aren't reliable.
Yeah, so you wait until it's almost time, and then...
What does that mean?
You listen out for the sound of a bus. Buses aren't quiet. You listen out for the sound of a bus, and occasionally you just look. Oh yeah. You don't have to fucking just sit there staring at the road.
Nah, like, I can't do it, man. Like, I don't want to risk missing a bus.
Are you proposing like a line of diagonal seats? Is that what you're like...
That's literally what I'm proposing, yes.
I mean, yeah, but I don't... I mean, what the fuck are you talking about?
They should be designed so that it's basically like bus seating in a bus shelter. So you're basically looking straight forward, like to the right, but like on a slight angle, I guess.
You're asking the government to change the shape of bus shelters because you don't like turning to your side to see when a bus is coming. You would rather positioned the seat permanently in a way so that you could look directly.
How is that not more convenient?
The side of the road.
You can also fit more people if you did it that way. You get more seats.
I'm so glad Michael's on this podcast.
I'm just wondering, like, so at what point does this stop?
What do you mean?
I'm confused because it's like you're basically saying you don't want to do the work.
It's not
of looking. Because it might hurt your neck a little bit.
No,
like they're literally offering you a service to take you anywhere you really want to for like a very small
exactly. And you think
money.
you think they would have put a little more thought into it, you know? Like,
I don't know.
Maybe.
I honestly thought like you'd
Ben,
be on board with this. Like, you use bus shelters all the time, man.
No,
hey Ben, maybe no one's brought this up
Because no one
fucking cares.
Yeah, I really don't think it is.
Well, thank goodness I don't have to bus anywhere anymore.
Like, a
Because that was
bench
the most
makes the most
painful
sense.
thing.
Yeah.
Like, literally every time I go busing anywhere, that's like the thing. Every time that's like, oh, I hate looking this way. Like, it's
Just
so annoying.
do the thing where you like go up to the end of the bench and lean against the wall.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that before when it's available, like to do that. But it's not always, you know.
I would just stand.
Not
and
every
just-
bus shelter
I
is.
furrowed my eyebrows.
Not every seat is right next to the ad billboard thing. Like sometimes there's a gap or something. There's someone there.
I would just
You
stand.
don't want all the leg room.
I
whatever.
just stand.
I would
and
just
lean
sit diagonally, like on the bench.
and just look.
Like there is,
wait for
it's
the mic to
very
come.
clearly possible to do that.
Is
I don't
it
know
though?
why you need like a seat, like a specifically designed seat.
Why you
direction.
need to
tell you which way you wanna sit.
redesign
I'm not-
thousands of bus shelters.
I'm not saying go back and redesign all the ones we've already had. I'm just
know.
saying like that's how they should have been designed in the first place. Like, and why didn't you think about that?
No, I think you need to reconsider your priorities. When it comes to, like, you've only got so much room for opinions in your brain, and I think this is one of those things that should probably just not exist in your head. I'll be honest. Sorry.
Oh well. Oh, I'm hurt, man.
That was just shot down.
I'm just being honest.
So viciously. That was amazing.
Okay. So here's my pitch. If somebody's building a new city, a new town, or whatever, and they're going to put in a little public transport system, it's going to be real well designed because they actually know how to build it or whatever.
Yeah.
Should they design bus shelters with diagonal seating?
No.
Why not?
They just a bench is
It,
fine.
it costs no extra resources. They're going to have.
Well, it does.
They just speak hypothetically. They figure out a way to make it like
Okay,
just as cost effective as it would otherwise.
Okay, well, what they could do really is they could just position the entire shelter diagonally, so it continues to be a wooden bench, low budget, easy peasy.
But then that's going to stick out into the footpath.
Yeah, but no, it won't. You just put it further back.
Yeah.
Well, but then you're digging into someone's fence, into someone's property.
Yeah, I don't know. I really it's more that I just think it's like a silly problem. I think.
You're trying
Like,
to
if I
fix.
was-
You're
But
trying
like
to
you
fix
have
a
the
problem
chance to
that's not
create
really
a perfect
there.
city right now. This is your hypothetical situation. You have the chance to create your perfectly designed city with all the knowledge of all the crappy other cities around there, all the other things. You could make it as perfect as. Wouldn't you want people to sit looking towards the bus?
No, because I think a lot of the time people bus together, and in a bus shelter you want to be able to just look at the other person. So if you're looking at like a diagonal kind of seating arrangement, everyone's going to be facing away from each other or looking at somebody's back, right?
That's just
I
like
think-
what are you talking about? They're about to get on a bus where they're going to be seated exactly like that.
No, you're positioned straight ahead. So if you're next to someone and you're both sitting diagonal like this, right? I'm looking this way, you're looking that way, but you're kind of like positioned over this way a bit more. So if you're turning to like look behind the other person, you have to do this like you kind of have to like turn your head in the
How's
in
it not
quite
the
a long
same
way.
as in a bus?
Because you only have to turn your head 90 degrees instead of like
What?
100 degrees or 120.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's very easy.
The seats are going to be parallel, man, just like they're on a bus.
Yes, but if they're next
I
to each
think
other
I
and
need a
parallel,
diagram.
the other person is going to be behind the other person. It's like this. It's going to be like that.
Yeah.
Or else you have to position the entire shelter
Yeah.
diagonally.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. I don't think I would. I think I would probably go for like renewable energy sources.
Well, I'm not saying you can't also do that.
Well, yeah,
That's got nothing to do with busing.
if I had as much money as I want, then I'd make the bus shelters like perfect. I would put like a timer on it so that like as soon as the bus comes, there's like a ding, and you're just like sitting in this beautiful furnished, air-conditioned building with jazz music playing.
Yes.
I wouldn't just go, oh, we should make it diagonal.
Can we have Michael on the podcast every week? So
I'm
Mike,
down. Let's do it.
so Michael can just argue for me.
Yeah.
Because I would have
Keen.
literally
Let's do it.
here's what my response would have been. I'll be like, What? That would have been the end of...
Speaking of the end of the main topic, we done?
What are we done with? Public transport?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can move on from public transport. Let's do it.
Man.
What else we got to talk about?
So the next segment of the show is called What You Do. Anyway, so this is where we talk about what we've been doing, what we've been reading, watching, listening to, whatever.
Yeah.
In the recent couple of weeks, and what we're gonna do in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, what we wanna, and then
So we do. Start us off.
So we do what you've done, and then what you want to do, basically.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Is the
What
structure.
have I been doing? Got a couple of things I've been doing. Been watching a few movies. I watched just some stuff from Netflix. I watched Contagion. It's a Steven Soderbergh directed movie.
Oh, okay.
Basically about this like virus.
Is this the horror one? Is it?
No.
It's like a thriller.
No.
No.
It's a.
I'm thinking of something different.
Drama.
It's about a disease.
Oh, okay.
It's something.
Okay.
But it's about
It's a thing. It
disease
exists.
It's about a disease that takes over the planet in a very realistic way. They sort of depict everything with a lot of scientific backing in mind. They don't really do anything that I'd call overly dramatic. It's very much like a realistic depiction of what would probably happen if a disease that was unstoppable started to take over the planet and no one knew what they were doing, and a vaccine obviously can't be created in a night. So this one, what it does is it's like it's something like it attacks various bodily functions, causes sweating, seizures. Yeah, it was just really cool, and it's told from all these like multiple perspectives.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, just sort of like worldwide. There's like one person who's like a researcher on the disease, and then you got like the government, and a lot of it is just about that like governmental red tape of like, if this kind of thing hits, like there's a lot of stuff we're gonna have to do before it all kind of ends up happening. There's that sort of time while trying to create a vaccine, and it's like a struggle, and there's a lot of political unrest that goes on. It's really interesting. I thought it was a really good depiction of things.
Nice.
How does this work? Do I just carry on?
Yeah, you carry on. You do the whole thing, man.
Until you're done, basically.
I listened to that Billie Eilish record.
Oh, yeah. What did you
Eilish
think?
album.
I've been meaning to.
I liked it a lot. I
but
did a review, so I won't repeat myself too much for my review. But
where can we find that review, Michael?
Oh, nice, good stuff. It's on my website called The Melody House. It's got like 3 reviews on it. It's tiny, but this is the first one I did in a while. Yeah. themelodyhouse.wordpress.com.
Nice.
Yeah,
WordPress.
so that's cool.
Lots of spots.
But yeah, I've been listening to that, jamming that a bit. She was played live at Coachella today, which was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And that's another thing I've been doing. I was checking out the Coachella live stream today. Saw like Billie Eilish play, saw some Tame Impala.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. I think Ariana Grande's playing like tomorrow or something. That'll be like kind of crazy to watch. I'm probably going to watch it. Why not?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
I like Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
For
absolutely.
Multiple reasons.
Oh, you mean like she's hot?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been going on, and I think Billie Eilish is really interesting. She's a good case study of like what happens like when like a young person gets really famous, and then like everyone just starts to hate them because they're viewed as like being listened to by children, or they criticize her personality a lot. They say she's too edgy,
really
over the top. I love her. She wears designer clothes and shit. It's so cool. That's another thing I've been doing. Been shopping a lot, buying clothes.
Nice.
Trying to figure out how to sew.
Really?
Yeah, make my own clothes.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. Actually, that's more what I plan on doing. Oh,
okay.
Do I keep going?
Yeah, you do it. You do it all.
All right. This is what I plan to be doing very soon. I plan to learn how to make my own clothing. Would be a really cool thing to do.
That's really cool.
I found myself more and more interested in that kind of side of things. And, like,
that's cool. That's
clothes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm not going to go to like fashion school or anything, but I think I'm definitely going to get myself up to scratch on like just making basic things, t-shirts, jackets, all that fun stuff. And I plan on going through watching a lot of films from the last couple of years and trying to get my lists out, because I used to do these big like really, really long like top 50 lists where I do like a paragraph on every movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I plan on doing that for 2017 and 2018.
Wow.
Probably take me until next year to do it. By that time I'll have to make my one for 2019.
2019, yeah.
Is that just on Letterboxd?
Nah, they're on my website called The Screen House. It's like a companion piece to the Melody House. Yeah.
Is that thescreenhouse.wordpress.com?
Yeah, you got it.
Nice.
So that my top 4, I think it's 2015 and 2016 are up there.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty long. You can read them if you want. I just kind of talk crap about everything and talk about fucking pretentious garbage. It's cool. I don't know, probably talk too much. about them. But yeah, that's cool. Go check them out. What about you, Ben? What you been up to?
I was gonna mention a video from Apple that they released like last week called Apple at Work, and it's like a little mini short film. And I just want to mention it because it's one of the first Apple ads that's not super duper cringy. Most of their ads are just so horrifically bad, and this one was cool because it was basically just a short film, and like it wasn't released. It seemed like the film that they would release like during an event or something. They'll play it there. It's called Apple at Work. Yeah. It's just like a team of it's like a tech startup or some sort of startup company trying to, get financing or whatever. And it's just showing them using the iPads and whatever. Yeah. I just thought it was done well. I don't know. It's nothing special. It's just
that's kind of cool.
I just wanted to mention it. I thought it was kind of cool. Because most of their ads are just like, I hate this. This is so dumb. But like, this one's like, cool. And then I watched the TV show Forever on Amazon Prime.
Oh, what's that? Tell me about it.
It's really great. It feels like it's actually the lead actress is the judge from The Good Place. If you've seen that,
yeah, nice. Yeah.
And it's almost got a similar premise as well. I guess I don't want to say too much. Like it doesn't really matter, but like it's just like really nice. It's like really like a really like good show. I don't know. I'm bad at describing things, man. I just really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I didn't know anything about it actually before I watched it, and it has some twists and turns or whatever. But then if you know the premise of the show, you might already see that coming. But it's good. Let's just say it's good, and I highly recommend it. I just go get Amazon Prime. It's real cheap. It's way cheaper than Netflix, so do that. And then I watched a video from I think it was the Corridor Digital podcast or whatever. I could be getting that wrong.
Cool.
Anyway, it was Jimmy Wong talking about his first-hand experience on the live-action Mulan movie. Jimmy Wong, of course, is one of the stars of Video Game High School. Yeah. He's was involved with Rocket Jump heaps in the past, and so the guys on that podcast that like also work with Rocket Jump as well. Yeah. And so he was on talking about various things, and one of the things he talked about was he's in the Mulan movie, which I only found out when I saw this video. I was like, whoa, really? That's so cool. That's like so cool. He's on such a huge movie. It's like his first really role in a movie that I know of. I think he might have done some other real small things, but yeah, it's really exciting. And he actually talked about the movie. I'd recommend you go check it out. Just search Jimmy Wong Mulan podcast or something. You'll probably find it on YouTube.
Cool.
And the way he talks about the movie and the way the film set was run and everyone talking like the way that people talked about the movie and how they were passionate about it, about telling the story and everything. Mm-hmm. It just sounds like it's actually going to be a really good movie. And now I'm really excited for it because previously I was like, I
didn't really care.
I just didn't care. I was like, well, you've done like 50,000 live action remakes. I was like, how's this going to be any different? I was like, it sounds like it's going to be cool. There's a Kiwi director as well because it was all shot here, but like all like ethnic casting and everything as well. And they've apparently been like real like what's the word? Respectful, I guess, and
they haven't like yellow-faced.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's called?
Yeah.
When you cast like a white actor in an Asian role.
That's called what? That's
I don't know if it's called yellowface because that'd be
whitewashing. Right?
Yeah, it'd be whitewashing.
Yeah.
I guess.
But it's like it's not even that. Like it's not just like that is an Asian character that's cast an Asian. Like it just sounds like they really actually care about it. You know?
Yeah.
And actually want to do this for Asian culture as well, Chinese culture specifically, I think.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm now excited for that. Can't wait.
Cool.
I guess I'll put that on my list. I think it is already on my list for next year probably. And then when I saw a movie that I watched, no, I won't say what it is yet, but I saw the Dark Phoenix trailer for the first time. Yeah. Because now I don't watch them online. I wait till I see them in theaters. Yeah. And it's way more exciting to see these trailers in theaters. And actually this trailer honestly looks kind of good. I know the movie's going to be terrible.
You never know.
For sure. But, like, the trailer was surprisingly, like, that doesn't look bad. It looks like, actually, like an entertaining movie. Yeah. But, like, it just can't. There's no way. There's no way it turns out all right. But I just had to mention that one. So, anyway, the movies I watched Get Out, finally.
Hey.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely loved it.
Have you seen Us?
Yeah, and that's the other one I watched. So I watched Us as well. So I went to the theater to watch Us. And that's where I saw that trailer. You seen it?
Yeah, I saw Us.
So Matt hasn't seen it. So we're not going to discuss spoilers. I probably wouldn't anyway.
Yeah.
But like, can you say a sentence about it?
What do you mean?
Like, what do you think? Without saying anything spoilerish or whatever.
I thought it was really, really ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that about it.
Okay.
I don't know if it's better than Get Out,
Right.
but I think it's definitely a movie that I want to read about.
Right.
For a while.
I think Get Out as a movie is a better movie.
Yeah. Probably.
But I think Us is the smarter movie.
Yeah.
I mean, on the surface level, I can see why people would just see it as kind of like a typical horror movie or action horror, I guess. Like it kind of feels like that. But it's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Like
it draws influence from so many different films and things. And
yeah. But like, my favorite thing about it was the subtlety of the allegory in the movie. And I just thought that was so smart what he did. And I'm just like, I don't want to talk about what it is really. I think you should just watch the movie. But like, man,
sweet.
I just thought it was so smart.
There's a lot in
Do you guys think, in regards to Us, does it feel like, is there similarities between Get Out and Us, or do they feel like two very separate?
I think there's
films?
definitely a lot of similarities.
They're
definitely different.
Yeah.
Like they don't touch the same story plot wise.
They both have that kind of element of like horror mixed with comedy that I think like Jordan does really well.
Yeah.
And they both definitely exist as commentaries on America. And I don't think that's not really a spoiler.
No.
But yeah. They both exist as commentaries on America from
Jordan's
for
sure.
perspective.
Yeah.
And
but like how I was saying, like in Get Out it's really obvious, I guess. It's a lot more obvious.
Yeah.
I guess.
They really do explain everything to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's really well directed.
Mm-hmm.
Really interestingly done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Fuck
yeah. I mean, I haven't heard anything bad about Us, so yeah, I definitely need to see it.
Yeah, and then I guess I mentioned before I started watching Living Neverland. You make it sound like I should watch the second part.
Watch it.
Even though I didn't technically finish the first part because I was asleep for
need to.
half
Trust
an hour.
me, you know what
I got the picture, right?
You
I got
don't
the
need
idea,
to-
right?
got
I
the
really got the
idea.
idea.
You don't need to hear about it.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then by the time we do the next podcast, I will have seen Avengers Endgame. There it is.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Same. Probably. Oh, actually, yeah. When is it coming out?
24th April.
24th,
When's that?
Yeah.
That's the day before Anzac Day. So it's our next podcast will be recorded on the 28th, I think, or
do you guys not
on
do
that
them
weekend.
I thought you did them weekly for some reason.
We do them every second week now, just because it's easier for us to pump them out and not be under the pump, the handle pump.
Working between our schedules.
And
schedules and stuff like that.
Last year, I think we got a bit like burned out. Like our content was just no good because we were too tired.
Yeah.
Or at least me, I found that.
Yeah.
And now it's a lot more interesting because we have a bit more time to put energy into it, and Tash gets way more time to edit it and to edit other bits of content as well. So it's kind of better for us overall.
Yeah.
Doing it that way.
Is Tash listening right now?
Yeah, man.
Hey, Tash.
Because he runs the live stream and everything. So
I love you,
of
Tash.
course he's
Miss you.
listening.
Miss you so much. Yeah.
Birthdays. Yeah, man. Man, how hyped are you guys with this movie?
I'm feeling the hype. Like I don't.
Are you
even
actually?
Really, I don't even really like. I shouldn't really care.
Because you guys don't care about
I
Marvel
don't really
movies.
give that much of a shit, but I think it's just like you have to, right? Because it's like this whole.
That's how I felt about Infinity War. Is I sort of went in being like, no, I'm probably not going to like this,
right?
But I feel like I have to see it because it's such a pop culture.
Yeah, that's how I feel about this.
Yeah,
right.
I think. Like, even like.
I'll see it. It's gonna. I'm telling you now, it's gonna take me a while to see it.
Oh, and I liked Captain Marvel.
But for different reasons.
I liked Captain Marvel, so
that's good.
Yeah, bro. I freaking put a post on Facebook and everything.
I don't know. I don't think I saw it.
Yeah. No, I liked Captain Marvel, so that helps.
Yeah.
That helps me go, okay. But
That's
I mean,
good.
at the same time, Russo brothers don't do it for me, man.
Really?
So I don't.
You've talked about that before.
I'm not anticipating a movie that I'll like, but I am anticipating just like, I just want to know what happens.
Of
really
course.
wanna know
Of
what
course.
happens.
Of course.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Sort of see how they wrap it all up, I guess.
I was kind of mad when with the whole ticket sale situation because they there was like a leak of the day that they were going to go on sale, and then Event started posting like a day or two before like these teasers, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much saying they were coming out soon, but not telling us a date or a time, which I get because I guess they don't want to be flooded with people from the internet. I don't know really.
Nah,
what
they
the
should
reason is.
announce a date.
I reckon
that makes sense.
I reckon it makes so much sense because like it came out at like 1:30 in the morning. I checked at 7 a.m. and half the IMAX theater was gone for the 9 o'clock, like 9:15 p.m. showing. which is not the opening one. The first one's 10 a.m., but I guess a lot of people will go to that one, the 9 o'clock one, because it's after work. That's why I'm going to that one. And it's just like, I had to get seats 6 rows down. Last year I was 4 rows down, and it hurt my neck like at the end of it, because that theater, the seating's not designed well. Really, it's designed so that if you're in the top row, you got good view right to the middle of the screen. Yeah. Anyone else below, you're looking up, which kind of frustrates me.
Yeah, bro.
I'm gonna say, if anyone out there listening wants to swap seats, I'll bribe you, man.
Oh, you know what's really funny? I just want to mention this about the Russo brothers.
Yeah.
I saw an interview with them, and it was like, people were asking, they're like, okay, we don't want to do like the big marathon. What movies should we watch
to
prepare for Infinity War?
Yeah.
And you know what fucking movies they said? Infinity War, obviously. Captain America Civil War. And Captain America the Winter Soldier. The movies that they
they were joking, surely.
No, they were serious. They were like, yeah, so these are the ones. Oh, yeah, and Winter Soldier as well, definitely. Yeah, I think these are the movies that really set it up properly.
Are you serious?
I'm like, fucking hell, man.
I totally agree with, like...
It all makes sense.
Civil War and Infinity War, obviously you have to watch for it.
Yeah, because Civil War is almost like...
I feel like Winter Soldier doesn't have that much relevance.
Honestly, I don't think people should watch Civil War. I don't think it matters. To me, it's like if... I'll be honest right now, if someone said to me, I want to watch all of the Marvel movies, which one should I skip and not like worry about missing anything? I would say,
you wouldn't say Incredible Hulk, because that's the one you literally can miss. Like, it's the only one that you can miss.
Absolutely, but Civil War, you can skip that shit.
That's funny.
Like,
I completely disagree.
Actually,
the biggest reason for me that I disagree is because of the characters of Vision and Wanda, and like that's really important for Infinity War as well. Like, and so I think the way I view it is, well, firstly, I would tell everyone that you got to watch them all. And you got to watch them in order. And you don't watch them. I'm so mad at this photo online keeps getting around, and I keep getting tagged in it of like how to watch the Marvel Cinematic Universe or whatever, and it's in the quote unquote chronological order, which isn't even chronologically accurate.
I mean, who cares anyway?
And it's just like, and so many people are actually doing it in this order, and it frustrates me so much. I'm like, don't, you're ruining your life.
Yeah.
Not quite that bad, but you know what I mean.
No, it's cool.
Watch them in release order. It's the only order to watch them in. I'd still recommend The Incredible Hulk. I think it's underrated. Anyway, I think I'm out of things to say about it.
You do this, and then after this, I want to talk about one more thing.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
As well.
Yep.
So I will go very quickly. So my things that I've watched, I watched Green Book.
Oh, yeah?
Green Book.
Yeah.
I don't think I've talked to you about this, Michael.
Late to the party. Yeah, it was good. Don't get me wrong, it was good. But it basically my thoughts on it was good. And I read a review on Letterboxd on it, so you should check it out. # shameless plug. Yeah, I thought the acting was great. Obviously, Ali and Mortensen.
Mahershala?
No, Ali. Muhammad Ali? What?
Were, their performances were great. Yeah, and their performances were great. Just like it was a good film. It just didn't blow me away, really. That was basically my stance. You know what I mean? I wasn't like, oh my God, that was amazing after watching it. I was like, yeah.
I don't know if anyone was like that. I was a little bit like I thought it was like really good. And I think I rated it 5 stars. I think it's like a really good movie. Like,
what did you say you rated it 5 stars?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Yeah, I gave it like 3.5.
I want to be straight up. I haven't seen Green Book.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
Man.
But I think it sucks. That's what
I saw it before I heard all the controversy about it, right? Yeah. And I like, but to be honest, I think everyone talks too much about that and says like, I don't disagree with them. Like, if you look at Black Klansman, which I also watched like a month ago or something, like I love that movie as well, and I love what it's saying, man. Like, and like with Us as well. Like, I love that these movies can say a lot of things and be great movies, but I don't think that just because you make a movie that has racism in it, that you have to have this really strong opinionated view on it and have to talk about it in the movie. I think you can just have a good, fun comedy, has racism in it, and handles it. I thought it felt natural the way it was handled, so that's why I liked it.
Obviously, my view on this is super limited because I haven't actually seen it. But what I will say is, like, from what I can tell and from what I've read, and I think I've read enough, you know, at this point to at least determine what people's issue with it is.
Right.
And people's issue with it seems to not be necessarily that it tackles a racism-related topic or anything like that. It seems to be that the way it tackles it is in a way which is almost like that whole white guilt narrative.
Yeah.
Of like, it's literally just
well.
exists to be like, we're sorry, like we're so sorry.
Right.
Here's this movie about, you know, a African American person like educating the hell out of like a
Right.
out of like a possibly
Yeah, I see what you
slightly
mean by
racist
that.
white guy.
I guess it does have the point of view
Yeah.
of that, almost as if racism doesn't exist anymore, right?
That whole like apology
Yeah.
thing of like, we're sorry this happened.
Yeah,
You know?
that's a really good
And
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie, so I can't really.
Just to jump on that point, I think it was really interesting because I can't remember what year it was, but you had Driving Miss Daisy, and you had, which I think won the Best Picture Oscar that year.
It beat Do the Right Thing.
Yeah, and it beat Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
And I said in my review of BlacKkKlansman that BlacKkKlansman, like, I thought it was good, but I was like,
Should have won Best Picture.
oh,
Motherfucker.
interesting.
Really? Not Roma?
BlacKkKlansman was like so good. It was better than Roma.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Roma, so
Interesting.
yeah. Though with BlacKkKlansman though, I think my problem with BlacKkKlansman was I went in thinking it was gonna be more comedic than it actually was.
Oh yeah.
And so I was disappointed by that. And that's what sort of tainted the
Right, you
movie.
thought it was going to be like a romp, like a fun.
Well, I thought it
caper,
was gonna have more comedic elements than it did, and it didn't really have it. And so I went, "Where's the comedy?"
Right.
Had I gone in and been like, "It's a drama," I
Yeah.
probably would have got it a bit better rating. I think I gave it like a 7 out of 10 or something.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
like,
sure.
which I got a lot of flack as a result of.
Oh.
But you know, that was basically my thoughts of it. And I remember saying in the thing, saying in my review, he's basically Spike Lee.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So Spike Lee, I thought he had done similar things with Do the Right Thing that he did in BlacKkKlansman. But I think he did it better in Do the Right Thing.
I find them to be so different.
Yeah.
Because Do the Right Thing is like a sit on one street kind of like portrait of a community style thing where you've got like a very, very, very strong main character of Mookie. And you know, like, it's all kind of like set over a very short period of time. And it's, you know, it's hard hitting. It's like, it's all about the environment.
Yeah.
That it's set in. Well, BlacKkKlansman is more like they split it up between Adam Driver and John David Washington. Denzel Washington's son, you know, and all that. And they like kind of, it's a longer exploration of like infiltrating the clan. Like, to me, it's almost like it's a crime kind of movie, crime thriller kind of thing. And then while Do the Right Thing is much more insular, crazy, fast-paced indie movie.
Yeah.
That doesn't give a fuck about anything. And then BlacKkKlansman is much more mature. So I don't know. I mean, they definitely both like tackle racist topics.
They tackle racists to the ground.
they do. But no, you know, they both tackle racism. But I mean, so does Malcolm X. Which is another completely different movie by Spike Lee that, you know, is like 3 hours long or some shit. So, I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily like a repetition or anything. It's more just like telling a story.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's, repetition, but I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Maybe more repetition of theme as opposed to repetition of...
Kind of.
An actual film.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. And then so my other film that I watched was Vice,
Finally.
which I gave a 4-star review.
Really?
Of
4.
Yeah.
I give it 4.5, man. I love that movie.
So 4-star review translates to an 8 out of 10. Yeah.
Oh.
I thought
you mean like 4 out of 10.
No.
I was like, what?
Oh.
Oh yeah, 4 out of 5. Okay.
Yeah.
5.
So 8 out of 10. Yeah. No. I liked Vice. Again, I thought the writing was great. Definitely the editing was great. Yeah. Really interesting. I loved the end. Did you guys see the end credit scene?
I did.
Yeah.
So the end credit scene was I love the end credit scene because conservative guys, like, I just realized this entire thing's like really like liberal leaning, yada yada yada, and just complaining about that, and then just a huge fight starts. I fucking love that. It was sort of true in a way. But it's interesting with McKay in his work, because to be fair, I've only seen The Big Short and The Big Short and Vice. By the only 2 films I'm pretty sure I've seen.
His other films aren't really anything like them. So.
Yeah.
So like, it's really interesting because with those 2 films are both very much so like they're like satire and like sort of got a satire side to them, right? I feel, and they're interesting because they're not like horror films in the traditional horror sense, but they're sort of like telling this story
Right.
of like shit that you should be scared about,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but no one really is.
Yeah, I get
Does
that.
that make
Really good
sense?
point.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, so I love that element.
Like I walked out of Vice with pure hatred for that man. Like
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
without it, like because basically before I didn't even know anything about him.
Yeah,
I was like,
I
oh
was
my
I was sort of
God.
a similar
Yeah.
boat. I knew of him, but I didn't really
Right.
know
Yeah.
about him. Yeah, so I love that. But again, in my review, I did say that like The Big Short, like when I watched The Big Short, blew me away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think The Big Short did it better than
Yeah.
I would
Vice
agree.
did.
Yeah.
I would agree with you.
I
on that.
agree.
Yeah, so
Definitely.
that was my thoughts of it.
It should have won the best editing Oscar.
Right. Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that what you said, Ben?
I actually
Yeah.
said it was either I said either Vice or Green Book actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Vice should have got it. It's just like it's the most interestingly done.
For sure.
But
But I mean, it's kind of like it's the most noticeable because they did something crazy with it.
Yeah, but
Whereas-
it's also I think it's also the best. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
Not fucking Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh God. Oh, like I haven't seen the movie, but I watched a scene
I've
from
seen
it.
it.
Like there's some like dialogue scene. Where it's
Oh,
like,
yeah, I love that.
the guy who like went through it and was like, "This is terrible." And I was
yeah,
like,
it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
"Wow, that's actually from the
Yeah.
movie." I was so
My-
shocked.
My thing with Bohemian Rhapsody and what I said in my review again was,
Letterboxd.com/Matt_5. Am I right?
yeah, like my thoughts of it was basically like I said in the review, I was like, it was okay, like it was okay, sort of thing, yada yada yada. Not a best picture,
Yeah.
but definitely best actor to Rami. Rami's performance was amazing in that film. I think he
Was
deserved
it?
the Oscar. I think
Nah, it was
he
good.
did. I was about to fight you on that.
He did a good job.
Yeah. Last thing what I've been like doing is I've been doing the 30-day photography challenge on Instagram.
So what is that? Tell me all about it. I
So
don't know.
basically you get each day you have like a prompt of some kind and you have to take a photo based on that prompt.
Oh yeah.
And
Does
so-
everyone get the same prompt?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a couple of different ones out there, but you basically see the prompts by just searching 30-day photography challenge, and
Mhm.
just a shit ton of versions will come
Mhm.
up. Yeah. So the one that I'm doing, I sort of explain which one it is, sort of each time I post, or you can pretty quickly figure out
Yeah.
what's going on by the photo.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other day the thing was, I think it's hilarious, but it's probably not that funny of a joke, but. The prompt was like things you can't live without, and so I took like 3 photos, combined it together, like on layout, so it was like 3 photos in one, right?
Yeah.
And I had food, water, and then shelter.
Nice.
You should have just taken a photo of your head and said, "I probably couldn't live without this."
Pretty funny.
Yeah, so I thought that was funny. And then other ones have been like self-portrait. That's like the first day, and then the last day will be self-portrait.
So you could have just taken a photo of your head for all of these.
Yeah. You can find a way to spin it, right? You could just use. What if you just use the exact same photo every day?
Yeah.
Well, one was something. Then with some of the prompts have been something blue, something green.
Yeah.
Just tint the photo.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely could do it. Yeah. I think you
Crack
could
up.
probably like get a BuzzFeed headline or something out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gee, I wish I'd done
Do
that.
you
That would have been
want
hilarious.
a BuzzFeed headline about it?
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Bro, everyone fucking, well, not everyone, but a lot of people read BuzzFeed. You
That
know.
doesn't mean
Very
it.
popular now.
Popular
very
doesn't
popular.
mean like reputable or
No,
worth
definitely,
your name
but-
being in it.
Yeah, who cares? Who
Alright.
cares?
Any publicity is
That's
good
good
publicity.
It's debatable. It's really debatable.
Yeah, and then so the other thing I did was I got Spotify.
Oh wow, like paid? You mean?
No, free.
Oh, you just started using
I
it
started using Spotify.
instead of what? What did you use for music before that? Like YouTube?
YouTube.
Yeah.
How is this a big like amazing announcement? This is like you living in the Stone Age.
It's like saying
listening
you got an
on
iPhone or something.
Yeah.
Or like a smartphone.
Well, it's
Yeah.
important to me, okay?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I'd understand. Like yeah, I finally decided to get a subscription, but like no, I'm still gonna listen to it for free and not pay any money for it. Like yeah.
It's alright.
Yeah, but the artists get money from
From the ads. Yeah,
ads.
I mean the same thing happens on YouTube. It's just
And a
like
similar thing
way more
happens-
clunky on YouTube.
and
I
a
don't know why
similar
you
thing
haven't using
happens
Spotify.
with. Well, I would argue that the best way to listen to music is live.
Well, yeah, okay. Well,
when we all have the privilege to go to concerts, I mean,
if we're talking about streaming music or listening to digital music,
Okay, what's the best way to listen to music?
I believe
that.
Cool.
Okay, so
it's a good question. You got me there. I believe
I'll chuck the options in. Like, we'll chuck in like old styles, right? So like CD, tapes, vinyl.
Okay, so it's just saying purchasing physical media, purchasing digital media, paying for a streaming service, and using a free ad service with ads. I'm gonna say the best overall round option is paying for a streaming service because that's the most convenient for you, and it pays the artist. I believe it pays better than ads do, so it makes more sense to get a paid subscription, and it's way more convenient. And who wants to listen to ads, especially half the ads on Spotify? Just like get Spotify Premium, like it's so annoying.
No, for sure.
But then also I would say that like if you really love an album, or especially if it's like a local talent that like won't get many hits on Spotify, then buy it. I've done that where it's like just like a local band or whatever, and so like I'll buy the album or EP or whatever it is, because I know that they're not going to get any money out of Spotify anyway.
Yeah.
So then that gives them a lot more, or at least a little bit more than they would otherwise. I think with like the big giant artists that get millions of plays, that it's not as relevant to buy an album because I think I don't need to.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't need to. But then obviously if I love them enough, I'll go see them live. So then that's supporting them as well. So that's my take.
Is I'm getting closer to getting a paid subscription.
Okay.
Getting on the right side. It takes steps.
I just feel like it's the exact same attitude of I'm okay with putting up with ads and listening to music. I think I just don't understand why you weren't on Spotify already, because it's so much more convenient for finding a music and making playlists and all that kind of stuff.
That's why I said I'm doing it, because
we are doing it. Yeah, you're doing it.
Because I'm no longer doing it on YouTube. I thought you'd be proud of me because you...
I would be proud if you started paying for it, I guess.
All right, guys. Star Wars trailer.
Oh, okay.
So,
like I mentioned, I don't watch trailers.
Oh my god.
So I haven't seen the trailer.
Okay.
But I did read something about it and I've heard.
Okay, so you know what it's called.
Yeah, we know what it's called. Oh my goodness.
Episode 9. The Rise of Skywalker.
Look, I read a comment on Facebook or Reddit or something where someone said, like, the only reason this title can be okay is if Anakin Skywalker rises from the grave.
Look, man, I really hope JJ doesn't, like, as much as I love... I really like Abrams as a director. I think he does a really good job. And I think Force Awakens showed that he's a really, really fantastic blockbuster director.
Mm-hmm.
But if he comes in and he just retcons everything and just decides to go... like basically full-on fan service mode and give them everything they want after The Last Jedi, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think it's good. I think what he really should be doing is doubling down on Rian Johnson's creative decisions and going, yep, this is exactly what's happening. We're gonna make you like it. Because right now, if he decides to go and be like, oh, you know what? Rey actually is a Skywalker. I'm gonna fucking punch someone, man.
Yeah.
It's like, that's just so wrong.
I think it's most likely to be something in between.
I really hope it's
nothing. I don't think he's going to double down.
Yeah.
But I also don't think he's going to do full-on fan service. I think he is going to try and, like, make it work within the world there is. I think overall, I wouldn't blame him. Whatever the product is, I'm not going to blame JJ. I'm going to blame Lucasfilm and the people behind that who decided that they could just make one movie and then find a new talent and make the next movie and just, like, not even have a plan or a structure. Like, you look at the MCU, look at what Kevin Feige does and the way he, like,
they
plans
actually care
everything
about
and it, like, it all arcs together, like, with Star Wars, they're just like, oh, we've got these rights, we can make a movie, let's go, let's make a movie. Get J.J. Abrams, he's real cool, he makes a cool movie, let's make him make a cool movie, right? And then, we'll get this other guy to do the next one, and then, but we don't... There's just no coordination or planning between them. You just saw it between those two movies, even how bad their communication
I thought it was
planning
great. I was like, cool, man. He's just taking it in a total different direction, subverting expectations.
Right.
Oh, and my favorite thing, I am so happy right now that Rey doesn't come from any lineage of importance, because it doubles down on those fucking stupid Mary Sue comments.
Oh yeah.
It doubles down on that and it tells them, screw you. We don't care. We don't care at all. Like, he's just destined, and that's the way it is. Because it's the same thing with, Luke in his way. He was born into a family of destiny.
Right.
There's no difference. So,
yeah, it's a fair point.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming what the title is talking about Ben, right?
So, Ben Solo.
Because obviously, because he is a Skywalker, right? He's just
in a way,
not by name, but he is direct lineage. Because I assume so I didn't watch the trailer, but what I'm going to assume is happening is that it's his kind of like rising up, being a more evil dude or whatever he's going to do.
He's going to kill himself.
Really?
Yeah, I reckon he's going to sacrifice himself for the betterment of
the
world or some shit.
I thought you said he's going to like commit suicide.
I mean, technically he will, but
okay, sacrificing is a little bit different.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that suicide.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say he wouldn't do that. But I don't know. I just again, I hope they surprise us and they make something that at least makes it worth watching the trilogy. Because if it's another one, for me at least, like The Last Jedi, then it just wouldn't even be worth watching more than the first movie.
Why do you think that?
Because then it's one, I think, really good movie, and then two movies that are okay, but overall aren't compelling enough. Do you know what I mean? So with The Last Jedi, I really enjoyed about the second half of it. The first half of it, I was bored to death.
Yeah.
And overall, I thought it just wasn't, the structures wasn't good.
Oh, okay.
In my opinion.
Okay.
And if they do it again, and it's just if it's another mixed response again like Last Jedi, then it's just why even bother? If you're making Star Wars and you're not making the best movies you can make, then why are you making them?
Yeah.
Look at Solo. What a train wreck.
It was a weird movie, man. It just wasn't that great.
I didn't watch it because I knew I didn't need to. I knew well beforehand that it was going to be trash. If they kept on...
Have you not seen it?
No, I haven't watched it.
Oh, damn.
If they kept on... and I know they regret it now, but if they kept on Phil Lord and Chris Miller, I'm sure they would have done a stellar job, and that actually would have been a fun movie.
Yeah.
But they took themselves too seriously. I mean, Lucasfilm took themselves too seriously and were trying to be real careful about this property, and then when you try and be too careful, you stuff it up even more, I guess.
That's what I'm worried about with 9.
Right.
I'm just worried they're going to reverse everything. If they bring back Luke, which I worry they might really do.
Do you mean as a human or as a Force ghost?
Probably. I mean, they'll do it as a Force ghost.
Surely,
they do,
yeah.
But
is there anything wrong with him coming back as a ghost?
I think it would be absolutely ridiculous and completely against the whole point of what made The Force Awakens a good movie and what made The Last Jedi a good movie.
So now is time for the segment of the show which we call Crunchy Comments. This is a section where we read out any comments that we've gotten over the course of social media, which I believe... Do we have any? Or no?
We don't have any from anyone other than Tash, who's commented in this podcast saying... what about solar-powered limes?
I mean, yeah, bro. Let's do it.
The thing that just... Does it even make a difference if they're solar-powered or not?
Aren't they electric?
Yeah. I mean, they are electric. It's not like the difference between petrol and electric cars.
Yeah.
It just makes them... I'd say less convenient, because the best time to charge limes is at night when they're not being used, but that's the time that you can't charge them.
I mean, he's obviously just shit posting. But I mean, nah. Why the fuck?
All right, so if you want to support us, you can do so on any of our social media channels. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Ambit, Instagram. What else are we on? With YouTube. Yeah, so follow us, comment. Please comment, because then this makes the crunchy comment section work, because it's pretty bad if there's no comments. Also feel free to like us, share us around with your friends and all that. However, if you want to dig a little deeper in terms of your support, you can support us on Patreon, where any money pledged to us on Patreon is invested straight back into the company. And we have some really cool tiers on there as well, so you should check that out.
Did you say tea? Oh, tiers. You said teas? I'm like, we sell merch? What?
Tiers?
Yeah. I think so.
Tiers?
Tiers, yeah.
Oh, wait. Okay, before the podcast ends, what does the red mean in Red Laugh Riot?
It's a colour.
It's an excellent question. It means literally nothing.
It's not like a red letter media.
Nah. Does that mean something? What does that mean?
No, I just wondered, because it was he. I just wondered what red meant.
Well,
I think it's just
all right.
honestly.
I've been Matt,
and I've been letterboxd.com/therealclothes.
And I've been,
all right. Thanks.
I've
We'll
been
see,
Michael. Yeah.
we'll see you guys
I gotta plug myself.
in 2 weeks.
I gotta plug myself. Gotta do it. We're in the end game now.
Bye, everyone.
Fuck.